record now. We are on the record on case number 24-CV-6381, which is Spencer Badger. You're Mr. Badger?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, versus Justin Higgins. You are Mr. Higgins?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We are scheduled today for full evidentiary hearing on Mr. Badger's petition seeking a protection order to be issued against Mr. Higgins. Mr. Badger, are you ready to proceed today?
I am.
Okay. Mr. Higgins, are you ready to proceed today?
Am I allowed to question who's in the audience?
Are you wondering who the gentleman, nice gentleman sitting in the back? That is Mr. Fox, correct? Okay. And I think he's an employee of the municipal court, correct? Of the prosecutor's office, the city prosecutor's office? Okay. I apologize. He's an employee of the city prosecutor's office.
Have you come as a witness for Badger in any professional capacity on his behalf?
No, I mean, you are here.
The prosecutors.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not representing Mr. Badger. And for the record, the person you just spoke to is
my mother.
Your mother. Okay.
Yeah, Beth Higgins.
All right. So I had asked you if you're ready to proceed today, sir.
Your Honor, I'm ready to proceed today.
Okay. So you are currently in jail. And I brought that up not because it has any impact on this decision, but because you do have documents in front of you. I believe your mom brought them to court today, so I did give you some time for you to gather your evidence. So you believe you are prepared to go forward? Yeah.
It might be a timely manner today that we have this discussion because I have a lot of evidence surmounted here against the alleged victim in this situation. So if you don't mind it being a lengthy process today.
Well, we will see how it proceeds, okay?
Sure.
The way this will work then, Mr. Badger filed the case. Mr. Badger bears the burden of proof, so you will go first. You'll present your testimony and evidence, any witnesses you may have. When you are through, then Mr. Higgins, you will be given an opportunity to present testimony and evidence. I don't make a ruling from the bench today for a couple of reasons. One, I would have just heard everything, so I need time to think about it. Two, my role here is to make a written recommendation that will be reviewed by the judge assigned to the case, and until that review process is complete, we don't know what the outcome will be. Sure. Okay, so before I begin with evidence, are you calling your mother, that person you've identified as your mother, are you calling her as a witness today?
You know, is there any way I can have her considered as co-counsel, as a pro se litigant, and still be called to the stand?
As co-counsel, are you an attorney, miss?
No.
Okay, I can't. You're entitled to represent yourself, but you can't have somebody act as a co-counsel unless they are licensed in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
Okay, so if I let her do that, she could be charged with unauthorized practice of law, and I'm sure she doesn't want to be charged with that, okay?
Right.
So that's why I can't do that. But if you intend to call her as a witness, are you requesting a separation? Is either party requesting a separation of witnesses?
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Sometimes parties will request a separation of witnesses, meaning they don't want witnesses who will testify to remain in the courtroom and hear everything.
No.
Some people don't care.
No, that's fine.
When you say that's fine, which one are you?
I'm not going to request that.
Okay, so he's not requesting a separation of witnesses. So your mom, and you understand that he may end up calling her as a witness.
Yeah.
And you're okay with her remaining in the courtroom?
Sure.
Okay, so that moots that.
Perfect.
All right. I want to give both of you full and fair consideration. In order to get there, it's very important that each of you are here to talk to me. Please don't interrupt each other unless you're making proper objections under the rules of evidence. Certainly don't start arguing back and forth, okay?
Sure, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Badger, again, we start with you because you have the burden of proof. Are you calling a witness or are you calling yourself as a witness?
Just myself.
Okay. I am going to place you on your oath. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to under God or under penalties of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. All right. What would you like to tell me, sir?
I I guess the reason I'm requesting a protection order is because I would like to keep Justin away from me and my family and my home. On August the 17th, 2024, just before 10 a.m., my neighbor was outside. Am I allowed to tell you what my neighbor saw and told me? I'm sorry, I don't know.
Objection. That's hearsay.
Okay.
In addition, it's in regards to a false police report that him and his neighbor filed against me, which was dismissed by the prosecution in regards to finding the fact that it would be horrible for them to go to trial. And that was just yesterday, and it's public information. We have screenshots of the evidence.
Okay. Well, will you be bringing that up later, that you believe he filed a false police report?
Absolutely. He's filed many of them.
All right. So when I'm looking at the total picture, it may end up helping you. I don't know where the evidence will lead us. There's no jury here. So I will note the hearsay objection to what he's about to tell me that the neighbor said. So I'll reserve ruling because sometimes there are exceptions to the hearsay rule. I don't know yet. So I will allow that testimony in. But if I determine that it is hearsay, no exceptions apply, then when I'm making my final ruling, I'll disregard it, okay? So for now, your hearsay objection is noted for the record. I'm reserving ruling, okay? So continue.
I don't know if it's necessary to ask for continuance to have my next door neighbor come in and testify instead. I don't know what is most appropriate, ma'am.
We've already moved
Okay, and I
forward.
can't, hold on. I can't give you legal advice. So he's not here to testify.
Yeah, he was here yesterday, and I didn't know that he was. I didn't know to bring him here today.
Your Honor, if I may. He was here yesterday and interviewed by prosecution.
Oh, you
And
mean,
found that he had no grounds of truth behind what he
okay.
stated.
Yesterday was a different court proceeding?
Yeah,
This is the reason I was in cuffs, Your Honor.
on August the 17th, he was a warrant was issued for menacing for his arrest, based on video footage from my surveillance and my neighbor's testimony to the police officers. He was charged with menacing, and that trial date was for yesterday. And then today we're here for the protection order.
Okay. But that's why I always start off asking if you're ready to proceed. I can't give you legal advice and tell you whether you need this person as a witness or not, okay? The problem I have is you said you're ready to proceed. We started the hearing,
Okay.
but so are you
No, I'm
now
ready. I
asking
think-
for a continuance?
No, I'm ready to go.
You're sure? Okay.
Yes.
All right. As I said, you can proceed. You started to tell me that August 17th, shortly before 10 a.m.
Yeah, I was
Pick up from there, please.
at home doing something on I think it was a Saturday morning, and I heard a vehicle outside blaring its horn outside of my house. I didn't think anything of it.
That's not even how he started the original narrative. He said that he had heard me, had seen on the surveillance, not me, that it was his neighbor. He's already contradicting his own testimony.
Okay.
I mean, this is perjury.
I'm going to overrule because you are going to get a chance to ask him cross-examination questions, so you can ask him about that. If you think there were discrepancies in the testimony, you can inquire about that, okay?
If I may, Your Honor.
I'm listening to him. I'm taking notes, okay?
If I may.
Go
May I
ahead.
get uncuffed and have a piece of paper so I can take notes appropriately to conduct myself professionally? Okay.
Okay, I'm not in charge of courtroom security,
pen and
Deputy
pencil, I just
Rose
don't
is,
wanna
but
touch
I
it.
can give you.
There's a pen and pencil. I just don't want to touch it without your right.
Or do you have paper? Thank you.
May I use this, please, Your Honor?
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate
I don't know
it.
if your mother's going to give you a piece of paper or not.
I have plenty of paper here as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
May I use this pen, Your Honor?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, the objection was overruled. You said you heard
a car horn beep outside of my house. I didn't think too much of it because my wife had just left, and I thought maybe there was something that happened in traffic. A few moments later, I got a text message from my wife saying that my neighbor had texted her, said, "Hey, have Spencer give me a call." I walked upstairs, saw my neighbor in the backyard, walked out and said, "Hey, what's going on?" That's when he told me that he was out in his driveway loading something up into the trunk of his vehicle, and a peculiar thing happened. He said he was out there in this maroon, rusty-colored Jeep, pulled up to the end of the driveway, stopped, and looked at my house and said, "I'm going to kick his fucking ass." Excuse my language, that was the quote that I was given. Said he didn't think too much of it. He looked at the vehicle, and he was confused by it. And then the driver of the vehicle blared the horn a couple times and drove away. Marty told me that he looked directly up at my security camera and he remembered a conversation we had just a couple days prior where I had installed the camera, and I went and showed him the quality of the video. And I said, yeah, unfortunately, there's a guy who's got it out for me, and his mother lives in the neighborhood. I'm afraid he's going to be coming by the house. So I put the security camera up. And he said that's what triggered him to call me and say, hey, I think it might have been that person. He described the vehicle to me. I immediately recognized it as the vehicle that Justin drives. And I went inside and I called the police. Officers responded to my house. They got a brief statement from me. They walked over to my neighbor, got a statement from him. They had detectives respond that gave him a photo array. My neighbor picked Justin out of the photo array. So they had already made the decision that they were going to file charges for menacing, for him showing up to my house, threatening to kick my ass. While officers were still on scene, they were going to set up guard duty on my house. Justin pulled back onto my street and pulled one of my neighbor's driveways. I alerted the officers to him being in the driveway just a couple of doors down and reminded them, hey, if you guys are already going to file warrants for him, he effectively has a warrant now. Can you just go get him right now? When the officers tried to get behind him, he drove away at a high rate of speed. So there were menacing charges that were filed against him. He was arrested, has been in jail ever since. My concern is, got Justin over here, who you're going to hear a lot of stuff from, that he has a lot of interesting accusations against me, and I am legitimately fearful that he's going to show up at my house and do something to either me, my children, or my house. So that's why I'm asking for a protection order.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Not right now.
Okay. Mr. Higgins, at this point, you can ask Mr. Badger questions. They have to be questions. A lot of times I get to this point and people start giving me their version of events. You're not under oath, so don't give me testimony. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Sure.
If you have questions, you may ask Mr. Badger now. Do you have any?
I do.
Okay. All right, why don't you direct the question to me, and you direct your response to me. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Now, it's interesting that you said you're not at your house, but you heard a beep. How's that possible, Mr. Badger?
I never said I wasn't at my house. I was inside the house.
But didn't you say you received a call from your neighbor who said that there's traffic on your street and something taking place when they're loading something that seems suspicious? A guy yelling, he's going to kick your fucking ass?
My neighbor was outside and observed Justin's behavior. I was inside and was not able to observe the behavior. So my neighbor called to let me know.
Yeah. What type of quality does your camera have?
It's high definition footage.
Is it a Ring camera or is it a mounted camera on your garage or your house?
It's a Ring camera that is mounted on my garage.
Where's it mounted?
Above the vehicle, so you can see full view of the street. I have the footage with me.
Your Honor, I'd like to see the footage. Here's the fascinating thing. Did you know that I grew up 2 streets over from where you live, and my mother still lives there?
Sir, I'm going to ask you to direct your questions to me,
Did he know? Did you know, Badger, that...
Do you know that he grew up 2 streets over from you?
I didn't know where he grew up.
Okay.
Did you know where my mother lives prior to this situation?
I do know where your mother lives.
Did you know prior to the situation taking place where my mother lived is the question?
Yes. It's irrelevant.
I'm sorry?
Objection for relevance.
You're not objecting. He's not objecting.
He's allowed to object, as you will be if he cross-examines you.
Well, it shows a
So-
pattern of behavior, and we're gonna get to it.
Okay. So I'll overrule the objection because I don't know if it fits into your response or not. Go ahead.
Well, and honestly, he already answered the question that he knew where she lived prior to the situation taking place.
Okay. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I have many. Have you ever seen me face to face before yesterday in court when your case was dismissed for falsifying another report against me?
Objection.
That's just a question.
All right, let's break that down though. The only
convoluted. It's
relevant,
convoluted.
the only actual question was, have you ever seen him before yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Face to face.
Yes.
When was that occasion?
A long time ago at his house.
At my house. You saw me face to face at my house.
Yep. A long time ago, he had a dispute between him and his wife after a night of drinking. I responded to his house.
Here's the interesting thing, Your Honor. According to his testimony conducted with the Inspector General, the President of the FOP, and internal legal counsel for the FOP, he stated that he's never seen me face to face ever, but has been to my house many times.
You're just giving me testimony now.
Yeah,
all
he's
right?
lying under the Garrity and under oath now, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's
I
considered.
understand that may be what you want to tell me. There's a court process, okay?
I do.
Right now, you're asking him questions.
Correct. We'll get there.
So I'll give you another opportunity. Let's just stick to questions. Do you have another question?
Are you aware that when you're questioned by the Inspector General and waived your right to the Garrity, you admitted, Mr. Badger, that you had never seen me face to face, but had been in contact and to my residence with my wife without my presence and never seen me up to this very date and time, which was April 16th, 2024, when you waived your right to the Garrity and were asked that question. Are you aware?
He's asking you, have you previously stated that you have never seen him face to face?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd just like to mention that. Are you aware that you lied under the Garrity numerous times and after waiving your right to that?
I didn't lie.
Have you ever driven past my mother's house on any occasion looking for me? Mr. Badger?
Your Honor, I'm a police officer. Justin has been charged with violation of protection order in the range of 20 times in the last 4 years. There's been times that he had warrants, and I drove by his mother's house to see if his vehicle was there.
Have you ever driven past looking for me when there are no warrants?
No.
Would this be an appropriate time for me to show any evidence that contradicts his statements, Your Honor?
If you're going to ask him a question about that,
Okay.
but I'm going to have you give the document to Deputy Rose, and then he can show it to Mr. Badger, and then you can ask him a question about it.
Yeah, I just need a second, please. Now, if I mark something as an exhibit, is it considered, can we consider this classified and sealed until you rule on it as evidence?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Badger, do you remember the last question I asked you?
No.
Can you do your best to recall the subject that we're on?
Was your last question, has he ever driven past your mother's house when you didn't have warrants for violations? Was that the question?
While looking for me.
While looking for him.
warrants.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've never gone looking for him at his mother's house when he didn't have a warrant.
Perfect. We'll start right there. Well, I'm looking for some evidence here. Do you think that your behavior and your continued pattern of behavior, according to the Inspector General's investigation, that was sustained into you violating civil rights and falsifying police reports against me, do you think that there is an obsession you have with me, Officer Badger?
There wasn't any truth to that statement he just made. The things he's saying that he's attributing to the Inspector General, they did not say. There's no question there.
Did the Inspector General find your investigation in regards to violating my civil rights liable, slandering, defamation, and falsifying reports? Did they sustain that investigation?
No, I've never had anybody sustain anything about me libelly, slandering, or falsifying reports, or violating someone's civil rights, or anything like that.
Well, I'd like to just do a little deal breaker and mark it as exhibit number 1, if you would. And this is exhibit number 1 is from the City of Columbus, Andrew J. Ginther, Mayor's Office, okay, through the Department of Inspector General, Jacqueline Hendricks, Inspector General, Richard S. Blunt II, Deputy Inspector General, which was the letter given on May 20th, 2024. He also received this letter. It's under case number, investigation number to the Inspector General's Office, 2024-0054.
Okay. Are there any findings contained?
There are. And if I may,
Well, okay, he wants Officer Badger to look at that document. Give him a minute to look at it first, and then you can ask a question about it.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you. All right, what was your question?
Well, this is going to just show that he's lying again under oath, Your Honor, where he
Okay.
says there's an investigation
So
that was sustained by the Inspector General in regards to the allegations.
after you've had a chance to review this document, does that change your answer about no findings have ever been made against you?
There's no findings that I've ever filed a false police report, or that I'm harassing or stalking or any of that kind of stuff, or violating his civil rights. He filed a very lengthy and convoluted complaint against me with the Office of Inspector General. He included materials that pertain to him and materials that did not pertain to him. And the Office of Inspector General decided that they believed I violated the department's external communications policy, which is virtually a social media policy.
Okay.
More than that, Your Honor, they showed a conductive pattern of behavior, which they wouldn't.
Okay, well, you can't give me testimony right now. All you're doing is asking questions. Do you have another question?
Perfect, sure. So we're talking about retaliation now. Okay. We have a sustained finding, do we not? Now that you've seen the document, Mr. Badger, do you see a sustained finding in the investigation of your misconduct from the police in regards to your social media pertaining to me directly as a citizen of Columbus?
No.
Was there a sustained investigatory finding in regards to you violating police policy and misconduct?
The thing he's trying to say they sustained is not what
I'm not
was
trying to
sustained.
object. Hold on a second.
There was a sustained finding of a violation of CPD policy with regards to social media external communications.
It's misconduct, correct, Your Honor? Is that correct? Would you say that that's misconduct?
It's a policy violation that the Inspector General believes they sustained here.
No.
Okay.
Have you been badgering people because it's your last name and you think it's funny your whole life, or is it just something that you do as just irony?
Your Honor, I don't understand what this has to do with him coming to my house and threatening me
We'll get into
and
that.
having repeated actions of coming back to my
Like I
house.
said,
Hold
it's
on.
retaliatory.
Let me talk for a second. So I think he's using some of this to go to your credibility, whether you have ulterior motives
Sure.
to then claim that he's menacing you. Okay, so he's allowed to explore that line of defense. But what I will say, though, is that at some point, though, you do need to focus on whether you engage in menacing conduct, because I will tell you, though I can't give you legal advice, under the law, a person seeking protection order doesn't have to have clean hands. So even if, hold on, sir, are you listening?
I am.
So
Forgive me,
even
Your
if even if you prove that there's something else going on and you believe that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you also didn't menace him, because sometimes people spend so much time that all they're showing to me is that, oh, you actually have a reason you don't like him, so maybe you did do those things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So this case doesn't turn, it's not about whether he has committed misconduct against you so much. I can let you explore that if it's then leading to you think he's making all this up, those kinds of things, and it
Yes,
affects
ma'am.
his credibility, okay? But I don't want you to spend too much time trying a case that we're ultimately not here to decide,
Okay.
okay?
Absolutely. And
All right, do you have another question?
I do. So we're going to get into retaliation.
And miss, you can't act as his lawyer, okay?
Yeah.
I want to just make that clear, okay? Thank you, all right.
Okay. So now that we have verified with 100% that he's been found guilty, sustained investigation through the Inspector General, Mr. Badger, now he's been found guilty, and you've seen the document that you're very well aware of, that your misconduct violated policy, and that policy that you violated was in regards directly to a situation pertaining to me, not some outside party. This is me directly. Do you see how you falsified your last testimony in regards to that question?
No, there's no evidence in the IG's finding that this pertained to you.
Okay, we'll get there. Your Honor, since I've been incarcerated for your menacing, that's the reason why we're here, okay? He said I menaced him, and I pull up in his neighborhood. I'd like to represent that I've lived, as he admitted.
Okay, it sounds like you're trying to
Badger,
give me
I've lived in your
testimony.
neighborhood. Mr. Badger, I've lived in your neighborhood for my whole life. And it's my neighborhood, as a matter of fact. And I'd like to represent to you, was there an occasion since you filed this false menacing accusation against me, which was dismissed yesterday, have you made any other posts about me on social media?
The question is, have I made any posts about him on social media?
No, that's not the question. I'll correct.
Listen,
I'll
but
clarify.
here's the issue that he hasn't answering that question, okay? Because it's not that's too long, is that he believes that you may be mischaracterizing things that haven't been proven, because you're calling it a false accusation.
No.
That may be your viewpoint. That's not his viewpoint, okay?
Let me
So
clarify
you're
that.
making it too difficult for him to answer, because then he doesn't, if I was in his shoes, then it's like you're going to try, like, oh, well, then you acknowledge it was a false report. Do you understand what I'm
Sure,
saying?
sure. So I get it.
Is
I get it.
Your actual question that I think you're trying to get to is, after he made that report, have you posted about him on social media?
Yes, I made a video about him coming in my house and threatening me.
Okay, that's his
In that
answer.
video, did it ever show on that video me threatening you, or is that just another false allegation?
It was not a false allegation.
So let me get to the first part of this double-sided question that was too challenging for you to answer both. Mr. Badger, at any time in this video that you went and made, out of the handful that you've executed throughout 5 years of my life, the most recent video, was it called "A Criminal Showed Up to My House and Threatened Me"? Was that the title of it?
Yes.
Okay. And this was posted on your YouTube page, I take it?
Yep.
And on that page, it's called Thoughts of a Patrol Officer.
Yes.
And you run that page.
Sure.
And it is run by only you?
Yeah.
Does anyone else create the media with you?
I don't understand the relevance.
What is the relevance of that?
It just has to show with the validity behind the actions of the evidence that's on there. Is he doing it? Is anyone else doing it?
He's trying to make an excuse for why he came to my house and threatened me.
No, I never threatened him.
All right.
I never threatened him, no.
Do you,
He posted a video, Your
hold
Honor.
on, do you operate your social media page
I do.
on your own?
Yep.
On his
Okay,
own.
so that's his response. He operates on his own.
Perfect. Do you remember the cover of the video for that?
No.
Just speculate what it might look like.
No.
Well, he doesn't
Okay.
remember.
You make all the thumbnails, but we'll get to that later if we have to. Do you have that video with you today?
It's on the internet.
Can we view that, Your Honor?
Only somebody has it here.
Okay. Maybe we should just pause and get there. She has it. We have laptops as well. But maybe this is short streaming, okay? And anywhere on that video that you posted defaming me, okay, slandering me and libel, all these things, because it's written, it's spoken, and it's executed to the public. And anywhere in that video, did it show me threatening your life, screaming, as you noted on these police reports falsely? Or let's just say, as you noted on these police reports.
All right, let him answer.
Did it show me screaming, threatening you?
My neighbor informed the officers of what he
The question is, Mr. Badger, did your video ever show me threatening you? That's the important thing, sir.
Does the video that you posted, does it show him threatening you? That's all he's asking you.
The video shows his vehicle pull up to the end of my driveway and then drive off and blare his horn. And it shows my neighbor turning around looking at him.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Are you aware that one of my best friends lives on your street after your legal counsel dismissed the case yesterday and ran through the evidence of the pros and cons of you going to trial against me?
Your Honor, that's not a question.
It is a question. It's just too difficult for your mind. So
Okay,
let me try to
hold
legitimize
on.
this.
Give me a second, okay? Let me tell you something.
Yeah, that might be badgering, right? The witness.
Well, that's your word, but that is common that you hear that all the time on TV. Your Honor, he's badgering the witness. So I'm not trying to do a play on anybody's name, but it's not efficient. It's not productive.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to
Yeah, forgive me. I
stop
don't
the
want to play on the
little
court.
comments, the commentary about how you're viewing the evidence, because right now the two of you are not on the same page, and I get that. That's why we're here.
Absolutely.
But if you could just stick to asking him factual questions, and this will go a lot smoother, okay?
Sir, forgive me, Your Honor. I'm not trying to make a mockery of the court, but what has happened to me in my life has been devastating, and my family.
I understand that,
So,
but
I'll just
we're
ask
here
this
for a
question.
very narrow issue.
Sure.
Okay, I'm giving you lots of leeway, though.
I know, I appreciate
but I'm
it.
going to have to start tightening it up.
Sure. Forgive me, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Moving forward, just cut and dry. Did your video, I don't care what your neighbor said or didn't say. He's not here to testify, is he?
Hold on, Miss. I may have to ask you to leave because you just said something and then he picked up on that. We already had this discussion about you can't be his lawyer.
Yeah.
You can't provide him
call it to the
assistance.
stand.
Could you imagine if somebody was sitting in here feeding lines to him? I don't think you'd like that, right?
Sure.
And that's what just happened.
Yeah.
And so if it happens again, I'm going to ask you to leave, okay? I won't have a choice, all right? Because he was showing you some grace. We commonly have separation of witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's ask a question.
Mr. Badger, just plain and simple, yes or no? Make it really elementary here, sir. Did your video that you posted on thoughts of a patrol officer that you stated you and solely you run, that's titled, "A criminal showed up at my house and threatened me," pertaining to me directly, in regards to the menacing situation that was dismissed yesterday, did this video ever once, yes or no, sir, show me screaming or threatening you?
The camera doesn't pick up that audio, but my neighbor did witness.
It's a yes or no, Your
Okay, so
Honor.
just answer. So, no.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, please, can you remove her? She's sitting here swearing, saying he's such an effing liar.
Okay. I saw you lean down. It did seem like you're exasperated. Your son may call you as a witness too. I am going to order separation of witnesses. Thank you, miss.
Should we call as a witness?
Okay, then I'm going to order separation of witness. I'm going to ask you to wait outside. Thank you.
So the answer to that question was no, and never showed me.
Yes, asked and answered, no.
Do you think that perhaps with no evidence of me threatening you is the very reason that the state dismissed the case of menacing yesterday, Badger?
Would you like me to answer that?
Yes.
No, that's not the reason the case was dismissed.
What's your understanding?
I'm going to continue to answer the question.
Well, he did follow up with what's your understanding, so that's probably what you want to.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
So when Justin was out on release from multiple felony charges. When this menacing charge was filed, that violated his bond, basically all got revoked. So he got arrested on an M4, and as of yesterday, I believe he had been held for 33 days, which is longer than what he would have gotten with the maximum menacing if he was found guilty. And the prosecutor was asking the judge, and they weren't sure if they could even continue to go to trial because he'd already been held longer than what he could have been sentenced. And the prosecutor told me that with that information, he said, we have the elements of the crime, but regardless of the elements of the crime, with him already being locked up this long, I don't think we're going to get a guilty if we go to trial. So we just decided not to go to trial.
Okay, that's his understanding. I'm good with that.
Okay,
Right?
thank you.
So let's just pause on this second. Sir, would you please do me the honors? This is the picture of Spencer Badger's face here, Your Honor, from his YouTube in regards to the video that we're talking about. This video wasn't just 30 seconds. He did a 27-minute, 42-second defamation, libel, slander, just disgusting video of me once again, which is a case that's dismissed.
Okay, do you have a question for him?
I just want him to say, is that
Okay, thank you.
Does that look familiar? Is that picture you? Is that your channel? Is it yes or no, too?
If he printed a screenshot of my channel, then I'll assume that it was a screenshot from my channel.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And that's Responsive Exhibit 2.
Okay. Now, the state yesterday pushed Mr. Badger for them to attempt to violate my civil rights. Now, I'm not sure if you understand law very much because you're just a cop, but that's okay. Not everyone does, and I surely have a lot to learn.
Let's just ask questions.
Sure. In regards to the docket, when it went in front of the judge and they dismissed the case, it wasn't for time served. It was actually at the request of the prosecutor, and the prosecutor actually stated, did he not, yes or no, that he talked to you privately and you weighed the pros and cons about you going under oath and the likelihood of you having any success against me on this menacing accusation?
No, that's not what he said.
Okay. Your Honor, exhibit number 3. I hate to have to keep running, boss.
That's all right.
What's that docket say right there, sir?
The case was dismissed.
And what reason does it say? At request of what?
At the request of the prosecutor, it was
Okay, great,
dismissed.
perfect. That's all I have to. Thank you for your answer.
Had nothing to do with the validity of my
Thank you for your
testimony.
answer.
I understand that that's what the docket, it just says what it says.
It is
Thank you.
dismissed. That's an undisputed fact.
Okay, thank you.
Are you aware just because someone serves time on something that the state doesn't have to drop the case, Badger?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Fair. Okay, next question.
Now, in your initial testimony, you said that there's traffic. You remember mentioning the word traffic in your initial testimony? There was traffic outside, and so they went outside and heard a beep because there's traffic.
That's not what I said, Your Honor.
What did you say, sir?
I said I heard a beep outside, and my wife had just left, and I assumed that somebody could have pulled out in front of somebody, but I was unaware of any vehicular traffic on my street because I was inside and I could not see the outside.
But his neighbor, to the original testimony, is the one that heard the beep. His neighbor's the one who was outside. And then he said that his neighbor called him and witnessed this rusty vehicle. I'd like to say, Your Honor.
It's being
Badger,
recorded. I'll go back and look at the testimony. Just stick to asking questions, okay?
Where's the rust on that vehicle? Badger, there's not a piece of rust on that vehicle. Not a single piece of rust. Not even a dent.
All right, can you answer that?
Perfect.
No, I can't.
Okay.
There's not. I'd like to represent to the court that there's no dents on that vehicle.
All right.
No rust whatsoever.
Okay. Do you have another question?
Yes, I do. So now that we've gone over the dismissed case from the prosecutor, no evidence from anyone, just hearsay statements. He's saying that I'm menacing. Are you aware that my best friend lives at 3085 Brightington? What street do you live on?
Let him answer that first part, okay? Are you aware that his best friend lives at the address he just gave?
I call into question that statement.
So you're not, if you can't say whether that's true or not true.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
that's
not
why I'm
aware-
asking you.
I'm not aware that he has any acquaintances on my street.
Perfect. Not acquaintances, Your Honor. As I said, Mr. Badger, my best friend since childhood lives on your street. And in fact, it's on the body cam footage when I found out I even had a warrant. Mr. Badger, when I found out I had a warrant, that police warrant went out seconds after they made a report. It wasn't ruled on by the clerk. It wasn't filed. It wasn't reviewed. That warrant went out immediately. So when I came back later to the area of my best friend, on his very street, there are cops there, as you mentioned, again, making a police report, as you stated. And you also stated that I had parked for numerous minutes before fleeing. Did you not state that? This is in regards to you being afraid, sir. Did you state that?
Okay, let him answer.
I believe him fleeing is either in the U-10 or it's in the CAD reports because officers did that. They transmitted that over the radio.
No, it's in your written statement, sir.
Also, when the elderly woman who lives in the house whose driveway he parked in, she came out and said, "Hey, what are you doing in my driveway?" And this is from me talking to her because I asked what he did. She said that he gave up some BS name, like, "I'm looking for so-and-so." She's like, I live here by myself. I'm just a little old lady. I firmly believe that he came back to further harass me. And when he saw the police officers there, he pulled into that driveway, and then they made a movement towards him. He fled.
And you saw that?
I saw that.
Okay.
I did.
I am just perturbed by the abuse of justice and the inconsistencies of your testimony that you think you're smooth and getting away with. So
All right, let's stick to questions,
It's
all right?
just heartbreaking. So let's just go to a statement. And I'm going to read this statement, and you tell me if you stated this. And you wrote it. Okay? This is the protection order, is it not? The protection order?
The statement I handwrote.
The one I'm holding.
To request for. You're looking at a copy of the
yeah.
protection order.
Thank you.
wrote
Perfect.
this?
That's the question.
If there's handwritten pages.
Yes. That's your handwriting, you wrote this?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so
Now, you wrote
he's
it-
admitting that he wrote all of it.
Okay. So under bullet point 5 and the narrative, it's 3 pages. You wrote both of those. Here's the thing. What would you consider harassment, sir?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay. You're a police officer. What would you? Is it a crime to harass someone to an extent of any extent? Is it considered a crime?
Menacing is. Harassment in itself is not necessarily.
So what would make harassment a crime, sir?
Telecommunication harassment is a statute in Ohio, but I don't know of any other harassments.
What about doxing? What about libel or defamation? Something written or stated, even through social media.
Not my expertise.
But you make police reports for them. Don't you? It's harassment. It's a criminal. It's actually considered criminal. Did you know that, sir? If
Okay,
it's such a pattern, it's considered criminal.
I understand where you're going with this. I think part of what I'm having an issue with having him respond is that I can't tell if you're talking about legal definitions of harassment versus different crimes that people consider generally as being harassment,
this is the
but
only reason
are
I
not
asked.
legally defined as harassment. Like when you're talking about libeling somebody, slandering somebody.
Sure. And the only reason I ask is because he's verified the testimony and the handwriting. And he says, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Badger, bullet point 5, petitioner's request for civil stalking protection order. I never knew before we get into your writing and you verify that this is your statement that contradicts itself potentially, are you aware, yes or no, that my best friend lived on your street?
We've already answered this.
No, it's yes or no. I'm asking, Your Honor.
Just answer yes or no.
No.
Were you aware of it? No, he's not aware of it.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I had a visitation that morning pulling through.
Okay.
And you didn't see me then, did you? The visitation with my children. You didn't see me when I pulled through. Technically, did you?
Your Honor, can I clarify one point for the record?
Yes.
My street is a U-shaped street.
Perfect.
There's a street that goes directly across.
Okay.
Perfect.
You can't go down my street by accident.
Yes, you can.
It's not a direct route between.
Anything can be an accident. I object
So
to
it
that.
starts and ends at the same road
The same
that goes
cross street goes
Okay.
across.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
it's not a cul-de-sac like this.
I understand it's not a cul-de-sac, it's a U. I get it.
You can go through it and out at two different areas.
Okay, had you seen him earlier in the day?
I hadn't.
Okay.
The only reason I was aware of that he was on the street is because my neighbor told me that he yelled at my house when he stopped to the end of my driveway.
Which is also hearsay, so I just like to object to that once again.
I understand, I'll note the hearsay objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Here's a statement. I'm a Columbus police officer and have had several dealings with Mr. Higgins over the past or last few years in my official capacity. That's why I'm asking about your official capacity, Mr. Badger, and your knowledge of what you consider harassment. So let's get back to your official capacity. Would you say that if I sent you a message or posted something about you, just destroying your character, calling you a child beater or woman abuser, would you consider that harassment? Would you?
No.
Why do you find that funny, though?
Your Honor, I don't know if you're familiar, but Justin and I both have large social media followers.
Your Honor, this is here. It has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't.
Well, it's giving me some context and understanding.
Yeah. Well, can we get there in due time?
Well, I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, I apologize.
I primarily post body camera footage of Columbus police officers arresting people. I've posted multiple videos of Justin being arrested on that body camera
Okay.
channel.
Which is why he was sustained an investigation by Inspector General.
He
found guilty.
also has used his social media to defend himself. And I have commented on his social media before.
I have never used his name in any capacity. Show me that evidence. Do you have any evidence to back your
Sir.
accusations?
Hold on, I'm going to let him finish his response.
It's ridiculous. Your Honor, he's abusing the justice system. Abuse. I mean, at its finest.
I understand that's your view and that's what you're trying to show, okay?
Yeah.
But you don't get to just do that by interjecting running commentary through this proceeding, okay? I think I've asked you multiple times to stop it, okay? I'm trying desperately to let you put on your defense. But if you do it again, what I'm going to do is cut off the cross-examination and then we'll just move on, okay? Because it's not productive anymore.
Sure, Your Honor.
Because it's just, we're all belaboring, this is why it's taking too long.
Okay.
Is because nobody just wants to ask simple questions. Everybody wants to interject their personal thoughts and viewpoints as to what the evidence is showing.
Sure.
Okay, you're intermingling what should be more closing arguments, you know? That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Yes, Your Honor. Forgive me.
Thank you. So you have a YouTube, you said, wait, did you say social media? I don't want to put words in your mouth. So you have
I have a variety of social media accounts.
okay, and you post,
Videos of
okay.
body camera footage of officers arresting people.
okay, and some of them included Mr. Higgins?
Yes.
Okay.
And
He's asking you whether you would consider that harassing.
that's what and
Right.
And his
yeah.
answer was no. So we're
And
good
so,
now. okay?
no, okay.
What about if I did it, let's say, 5 times? Calling you a woman beater. Can't wait to see your next body cam arrest.
He's attributing statements to me that I did not make.
Okay.
Perfect. Exhibit number 4, are we on?
I'll tell you, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Just let me present information as he's answered a yes or no. Now, what's the name of my company, Mr. Badger?
I don't know.
Perfect. Would you consider it Limitless Video Productions? Does that ring a bell?
Rings the bell.
Perfect. Is that your
Yes.
Perfect. That's your profile, right?
That's
Now,
what-
you said that you've never made a statement, I can't wait to see the next body cam arrest. There's no question pending.
That's not what I said.
It is exactly what you said. Your Honor, can you give me the last question and answer, please?
Well, you can ask
In
him.
the
So
business
did you
page.
post, I can't wait to see the body camera footage of your next arrest? Did you
That's a
post
statement
this?
that I made, yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay.
Perfect.
The
That's all. There's no
question-
pending question.
All right.
The question he asked was, have I ever referred to him as a woman beater and
Mm-hmm.
multiple other things? And I said that he's attributing things to me that I have not said.
Perfect. But you just admitted that's your account, and you did say that. Perfect. Now, let's get this mixed in here, too. Did you ever say you called me I don't know, a drug addict or anything like that? People that mix drugs together and things like that. Would you ever say that you posted that under your name on social media?
I don't recall everything I've ever said about you.
It's a yes or no. Did you ever refer to me on my business page as someone that's insane, mentally disturbed?
Sounds like something I would say about you.
Perfect. Would you say that you called me a drug addict and all that jazz on my business page?
I don't know.
Perfect. Exhibit number 5. This is the same. Is that your statement? It's the same
Statement is,
No, is that your statement?
statement is,
Is that your statement, yes or no?
Did you write that statement? I can look at it.
yeah,
Did you write it? Okay.
it's not exactly what he said.
Okay, I understand. I'll look at it.
Ron, we're going to get to this. It's going to collapse really soon, okay?
Okay.
What did that statement say to your best recollection?
Well, it says, are you talking about that you are insane? These are the ramblings of someone who's been mixing a little bit meth in their crack.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it says. Do you have a question about
Your
that?
statement, correct? On my business page?
That's a statement that I made.
According to the Inspector General investigation, in the Garrity that you waived, you said you never stated anything but something like, oh, that's a lie. Ha ha ha. Do you recall that?
I said that I don't remember exactly what kind of statements I've made on social media about you.
Okay. So let's just do this now. The first social media post that I showed was 2 weeks ago, correct? From your Thoughts of Patrol Officer, right? That you admitted to running that page, correct?
I don't recall when I posted that video.
Perfect. You already answered it. It's on the record. Now, the last, most recent, forgive me, I have cuffs on, Your Honor. The last post that I gave, when do you think that you made that statement?
He's bringing up,
No, I'm asking you, when do you think you made that statement?
Are you
that
talking about
question.
this "you are insane"
Yeah.
statement? Do you recall when you wrote this?
I know that some of those posts are multiple years old.
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. And that post is actually from 2021. He's writing,
All right.
Your Honor, here's the concerning thing. Let me give you a little background, okay? I've been a justice advocate and a court reporter for 25 years. I presented in this courtroom many cases as well. I started with Enron, AIG, mesothelioma. Then I went to work on intellectual terrorism, which is the implementation of technology to dismantle governmental and individuals in a high capacity. I worked and served in that congressional auditorium. Can you put his phone down? Because it could be.
It's going to bring up some screenshots.
Well, I'd actually like to file his phone into evidence.
Okay.
I turned it off.
All right. Continue.
Have I ever, to your knowledge, since you know so much about me, sir, potentially been arrested for meth or crack or any hard drug like that in my life?
The answer is that he has been arrested for possession of cocaine and pled to a case of counterfeit
That's
drugs.
a false
Ask him.
accusation.
You're stuck with his response.
It's a false
Okay.
accusation. It was actually a Tylenol. And it pled out to a counterfeit because I didn't have enough money to.
You can only testify to things that you.
It's on the common pleas court record.
Okay. So based on your personal information and belief, you think he has.
He was arrested for possession
Okay.
of drugs.
All right.
Possession of drugs. But it was counterfeit. That was the finding.
I don't
If
understand
someone
how.
is charged with a crime, does that mean they're convicted?
All right. So I
understand?
know what you're getting at. Is you think that he may have he may have made false statements about you. Again, this isn't a defamation case.
No, I know.
I understand what your point is. Can we move on?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Forgive me. Now, all of this is in evidence. Okay? But there's a statement, and I just know if you remember making these statements really quick. We're showing a pattern of behavior, and over 5 years, I have gone to, as he stated, Your Honor, I've gone to the Internal Affairs twice for help, begging for help. They said, how do you even know he's an officer? Things like that. Doing investigations without even having any investigatory stuff to say he's even committed a crime or done anything wrong. I took it to the Inspector General twice when they just got their wheels wet in the city, before they had an office and they were in the headquarters of the FOP on Marconi Boulevard. They found no wrongdoing because I was thrown in jail on a false report. The Badger committed once again. I've been arrested. As he said, he's made over 20 police reports against me. Okay? Not once in all these times have I ever even called, made a post. He's already said I've never made a post, acted out.
I do want to
pulled in
hear
front
your
of
side of the
cop.
story, but you're not under oath right now. Are you done questioning him? Because that's what it sounds like.
No.
Well, that's the problem, is that you keep reverting back to testimony.
Yeah.
So,
It's scary.
no,
Let me
sir,
just pause. Let me pause.
I need you to stop getting testimony in the middle of cross-examination.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I get your point that I understand what you're saying. He's acknowledged he's made posts about you, posted videos about you, that he even did it after your most recent arrest. I have all that. Do you have a different line of questioning you'd like to inquire about? A different subject matter?
Maybe we can just end this specific area on this exhibit.
Okay.
Of his harassment. Harassment is something that's considered unwelcoming, mentally disturbing, as the CPO states. It's something that takes itself upon one individual into another, showing it the chain of behavior of concern.
Deputy Rose, thank you.
This is Exhibit 6, I believe.
Okay.
Forgive me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we're on 6.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm going to give you 7 while you're up, brother.
All right, do you have a question?
Yeah, these two are a chain of comments that he made. Just that's it. And I have thousands of these things, but I'm not going to get into all of it. This just shows. Does that look familiar? Okay. Those are your statements. Correct, sir? Badger.
Thank you.
Those are your statements, sir?
Did you?
I did.
write these? Okay.
There's some back and forth between me and him and members of his family.
Here's an interesting thing. These are on my business page, where he has already acknowledged that I have thousands, millions of viewers and followers. People. I'm also a Global Goodwill Ambassador, a board member on 4 foundations, and the CEO
All
of
right,
2
you're giving me
corporations.
testimony.
So
Do you have a
this is-
question?
Would you consider that harassment?
Thank you.
How you're addressing me and my family and my employees?
Nope.
It's scary. Those are, just to clarify, just a few of thousands of miscellaneous screenshots in regards to direct comments that we have into his behaviors.
All right, address those.
No, that's another question pending.
When he's done cross-examining you, you hold that thought, because you do get a chance to redirect yourself and you can give some additional testimony based on his questions, okay?
The fact is, I've never, and all of the abusive behavior that you've made, all the police reports, I've never called you once, have I? On the phone?
Not to my knowledge.
I've never made a single post with your name on it. Ever, have I?
He likes to call me a
Yes
fat
or no?
pig.
Have I ever made a direct comment or post about you directly using your name and identity? Have I ever?
He uses fake names for me.
That's interesting. Do you have any evidence to back that lie up, sir?
It's not a lie.
Do you have any evidence to back that loose
What names
statement up?
does he use for you?
He calls me that fat piglet that keeps filing false police reports on him.
Do you have any evidence of that?
I could. There's screenshots.
Do you have any evidence of that?
I do.
Do you have
You
any
have
evidence?
it here today.
I could pull it up. I don't have printouts or
Okay,
anything like that.
fair enough.
Anything that you utilize on your electronic devices, I'm going to subpoena your whole device.
Whatever you say.
Calls and everything. Are you aware of that? Would you like to utilize any of those screenshots that you're talking about?
I don't need to.
Okay.
He says no.
Another lie. One second, Your Honor. We have a dismissed menacing case for false accusations, or just let's say a dismissed menacing case that was another lofty attempt and a retaliatory effect for you to back yourself out of a situation that you dug yourself into. Wouldn't you say?
No.
Have I ever threatened your life?
You threatened to kick my ass.
Your 27-minute and 40-second video doesn't show that. You weren't able to show that to the prosecutor in the state for the case that was dismissed yesterday. And the evidence and the testimony from your neighbor that you utilized said they never heard that. Didn't they?
No.
They did, Mr. Badger.
You're supposed to be addressing her.
All right.
So I'm doing my
If you
best.
disagree with his response, you're stuck with it, okay? That's just how cross-examination works, all right? Do you have another question? Direct it to me, please.
Would you say that... When's the last time that you've seen me in person before being in cuffs yesterday, Mr. Badger?
A number of years ago, 6 or 8 years ago.
That's interesting because you said you hadn't been there but that long ago until I mentioned the Inspector General report. Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate.
Okay. Justice is coming. Would you consider that a threat, Badger?
I have no idea what you're saying.
I'm asking you a simple question. If someone says in any capacity, whether a voicemail or any capacity, justice is coming, would you consider that a threat?
No.
In the video that you made of me on October 4th of 23, I was arrested for calling my children and saying, justice is coming. Daddy loves you. I'll see you soon. You're aware of that because you made a video about it, didn't you?
No, I don't know the details of the charges that were filed.
You do because you made it public on your videos. Okay, we have this evidence. Would you like to see those pictures today? Or are you good with just saying no? Would you like to tell the truth before I present?
I don't know how he got a warrant. I just know that he got arrested.
Oh, really? I'm heartbroken for the sake of justice. No? Have you ever talked to the public about sleeping with my wife and making a laughing situation out of it? Have you? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's it.
This is along the long slew of things that he's accusing me of doing.
I'm asking you a simple question. Have you ever talked to the public about sleeping with my wife?
I've never slept with his wife.
That's not the question, Your Honor.
He said, have you ever publicly stated that you did?
He's made a bunch of.
No, Your Honor. He's trying
You're
to
going
back
to get
up.
a chance, if you feel like you need to clarify or provide additional testimony.
I've never talked about sleeping with his wife.
Okay, so he says no.
Wow. I'm going to ask you just so you have an opportunity to tell the truth one more time, okay? Have you ever mentioned in any capacity on social media on the 2 channels that you run? Pause, let me back up. You don't run just Thoughts of a Patrol Officer. You also run Columbus Police Body Cam, correct?
I do.
Do you run that by yourself?
We covered this.
No, that was the other channel, wasn't it?
I run all my social media on my own, period.
Perfect. Were you paid by the FOP over the past 2 years, prior up to April, to run that as a secondary income?
No.
Father, do you remember when lead investigator Larry Ferguson asked you in front of the president of the FOP that question and you answered the opposite?
The FOP has never paid me to make a video.
They never cleared you as a secondary income. You never made any. Is that a no? I'm sorry, you nodded your head.
I don't understand the relevance of this.
It has a lot of relevance.
What is the relevance?
Huh?
What is the relevance?
It shows that he's not only doing these menacing things and harassing things to me, he's getting paid to do it by the FOP. He's lying continually and trying to make himself back up into a situation to put a last-ditch effort where he's already been sustained and waiting for sanctions. To put me behind bars so I'm an innocent individual and I can't defend myself.
Okay, so are you engaging in a pattern of conduct, trying to silence him,
No.
trying to get him locked up so that,
I can't wait to see the next body cam of your arrest 40 years ago, and he's made how many reports? 20, he mentioned?
I have not made
But-
20 reports. He's been
but
arrested.
can I
by
ask
12
this? What
arrests.
is the purpose of posting videos of him?
No.
I post videos of a lot of people.
Why?
People find it interesting. It's
Okay.
a YouTube channel.
Okay.
People get, when there's arrests, I post them. When there's interactions with people on the street, I post them. There's a bunch of people on the channel that have been posted multiple times because they have multiple interactions with the police.
Okay. So is he a target of yours?
He's a frequent flyer.
Okay.
He's made over 40 posts, Your Honor.
Okay.
Hundreds and thousands of comments. Over 300 million, in fact. How many viewers do you have? How many followers do you have just on one channel?
I don't understand the relevance to this.
It's 270 million. Let's get to it. Would you like to see the
270
evidence?
million.
Part of my issue is,
Scary.
I get it. You
Scary.
have laid it, because he's not denying that he posts about you. I've seen, he's admitting that because you're frequent flyers, that's his words, that you are. He has posted videos of you. You've shown me the post. I get all that. Okay, what I'm here to decide is, are you now menacing him because you're upset? I understand your defense is that you think that he may be getting into some sort of trouble now, and so now he made something up about you.
Exactly.
But I could also look at it as that you're also now angry about his social media activity, that it may support what he's saying
Yeah.
about you being around his house. So this could go 2 ways. So what I'm saying is, I get all that. I understand there's something going
I
on.
know.
So is there a new line of questioning you would like to explore?
Yeah. These are some of the comments, just from the most recent post that he's created. Okay? Titled, "A criminal came to my house and threatened me." Your
Okay.
Honor, I'm a conscientious objector. That's why I use technology. You know, I've never had a violent crime in my life.
All right, stick to asking questions. Do you want to look at that exhibit? What?
We're in 8.
8, yes.
Okay, this is going to be 8A and 8B.
Okay.
This is comments made on the most recent post. And I'd just like to read it, if I may. This is 6 minutes and 40 seconds into this 40-second video. I've never been investigated in regards to something he's done by the Inspector General. He says this. This is public. It's a lie. 11 minutes and 20 seconds. I had just installed the camera a few days prior. For all I know, Justin has been doing this all along. I just don't have a camera or a neighbor in the driveway to witness it. 13 minutes and 3 seconds. I drive by his mother's house, sometimes multiple times a day. I've seen Justin with that red Jeep at his mother's house. I'm always afraid Justin will see me driving by and do something or throw something at my car. 18 minutes and 32 seconds. He had Columbus police guard duty on his house until Justin got arrested on the 23rd, making himself out to be a victim. Wouldn't you say that statement's making yourself out to be a victim, sir?
I was the victim of menacing.
Okay, and that's a false accusation because that case was dismissed. So that's wrong.
Sir.
18 minutes and 32 seconds. We just covered that. But you posted 2 videos of police cars in front of the house. You didn't know that my friend lived on your street, as you said. And I stopped and talked to that lady who's not old. She's in her mid to late 50s. That's not old, boss. She's not elderly in any form.
All right, is there a question?
Yeah.
Because I'm not hearing one.
As you mentioned prior, there's a U, and you can go in 2 different ways and come out 2 different ways to where you live, and also my best friend Nick Smith and the Caprettas. You're saying that you're granted in 2 minutes and 29 seconds now. You're granted an emergency protection order against Justin for showing up multiple times in one day at your house. But I never went to your house. There's no evidence of that. Just none. 22 minutes, 13 seconds, and another quote by Badger. You posted a picture of my mom in front of her house, inside her own dwelling. A screenshot of this video, and this is a video that you've done of my mother that says, drunk woman answers door.
I believe it was pulls a gun on a cop.
Answers door. Would you like a picture of the actual?
I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Drunk woman. This is you, once again, harassing my entire family, badgering them. He admits to also in this video, did you not, to posting this video of her on his page? Did you? Thanks. Did you post that video of her on your page? Drunk woman?
I posted a
That's
video.
when they were looking, yes or no. Did you post this video of my mother in her own home scared at 1 a.m?
No.
Of course she's going to answer that. You didn't post the video?
That's not what the video was.
That's not the video.
No.
Did you post a video of my mother answering the door at 1 a.m. scared in her robe and call her drunk woman? Did you post a video under that criteria? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Video. Listen.
Yes or no? Please, Your Honor, please.
There's a video of his mother pulling a gun on a cop.
Is it something that you posted?
Yes.
Is it a picture of her 1 a.m. at her own home?
I don't know what time it was.
Is it posted by you on your page?
Yes.
Perfect. Now listen. Badger at 23 minutes and 36 seconds states, quote unquote, did you not, sir? I am a victim. I'm a victim in this case. Did you state that?
That is actually a fact.
Along with other facts that you said yes to. 24 minutes, 30 seconds. You posted a video of Justin trying to file a fraud report and listing. You said, I tried to file, this is a quote by you. He's trying to file a fraud report and listing me as the subject, end quote. This shows body camera footage of Justin claiming he had 5 million people see the first arrest video and made $50K off the profit. He replies, video of Justin saying this twice. Where is it? Doesn't exist, does it? You're just making more false statements, making yourself out to be a victim to the public, which is in regards to this situation, Your Honor. I never said anything to this. I never responded to one of these videos, not of my mother. You know what I did?
Okay.
I documented them.
All right.
I documented them for this very moment because when he dug this hole and fell into it, I knew I'd be in cuffs once again. But the
All
thing
right,
is,
I'm going to ask you to sit down.
yeah. Here's
No, I'm going to ask you to sit down. I'm not hearing any questions.
yeah.
And
These are
I've
questions
got
that I'm
over
reading.
and over it.
Yeah.
I've been very patient.
Okay. I know
But
that.
you keep wanting just to evolve into wanting to tell your side of the story. So
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
going to cut off cross-examination at this point because you're just talking at him or trying to give me testimony that I can't consider because you're not under oath.
Sure.
So it's not efficient, and I've asked you multiple times to stick to questions, and you just want to do it your way.
I apologize.
I know, and you apologize multiple times,
Yeah.
but then you keep doing it,
That's
and so
fine.
I can't keep going like this.
And I don't intend to belabor the court, so I apologize. And you may, as you will.
Okay, so you understand my position
Totally.
is that you're not asking any questions at this point.
Yeah.
All right?
I guess I was doing my best to show the evidence of the most recent accusation where he's calling me a menace and this case has been dismissed.
I understand. Give me a second. Did you need to look at Exhibit 8A and B?
No,
You're
I don't.
admitting whatever's on here. He's got timestamps that these are things that I think he took from your video or his mom did. I don't know.
Yeah, my
That you would
office.
admit that that's the things that he was rattling off that you did say those things in the video.
Sure.
Okay. So he
Yeah,
did
yeah.
acknowledge that. All right.
My mother was in a party, Your Honor, to some of the production, as well as my office.
Okay, and again, you're trying to tell me things that I
know,
can't
that's fine.
consider. All I was doing was letting you do cross-examination, okay? Are you, this is where you get to redirect yourself. If there's additional testimony you'd like to give based on Mr. Higgins' questioning of you, you may do so now. You're still under oath.
Okay. It's hard to put it all in a concise statement, but he has it in his brain that I am the reason that he's been arrested all of these times over the years. These are instances where his now ex-wife has called the police to file reports for violation of protection order. He's under the belief that I was the one that responded and filed all of those warrants. I've never filed a single warrant for his arrest. I've never filed a police report that led to his arrest. He was under the belief that I was doing this because I was sleeping with his wife and I was trying to get him out of the picture so that I could continue to have a relationship with his wife. He has called and made internal affairs complaints of that nature against me. He's also accused me of calling him and making threats to him on his personal cell phone, and deactivating his cell phone and erasing the memory of his cell phone. These are all things that he has called into internal affairs and filed official complaints against me. He has also filed police reports and listed me as the suspect of fraud against him. And I let all that just kind of slide over the years, as well as some back and forth that the two of us have had on social media.
I've never, Your Honor.
You know, he
Objection. There has never been, as he stated, a conversation between him and I that he can say took place. Now, these are all illusions in his head.
Okay, so you
Truly,
can't object.
it's a fact.
That's not a proper objection that you think he's lying. When you go under oath and give
Show me
testimony,
evidence.
you can testify to those things. Okay,
Sure.
So you're saying that there was some back and forth.
Yeah. Over the years, there's been a little bit of back and forth between us on our social media pages, and you know, it is what it is. People are going to have back and forth with social media. Most of the comments that he showed you were just screenshot of my comments, not including the entire conversation.
Objection, Your Honor. I showed both comments.
It doesn't matter.
All right,
I'm not bent out of shape.
That goes to the weight I'll give
Yeah.
to the evidence in his testimony. Okay.
It's just the fact of the matter that he came to my house and threatened me, and then he came back again, and I fully believe that he's trying to intimidate me, scare me, something like that by showing up at my house. I want to prevent that from happening again. That's why I want a protection order.
Okay. What relief are you specifically seeking?
I mean, As far as what parameters of the
Yes.
protection order, the big one would be stay away from my house, my wife, and my kids, and anywhere they might be. That I put up cameras specifically because of him,
Why?
because of his.
He already
I
admitted
think he's an unstable person.
Your Honor, he's already admitted that I had never done anything prior to regard him for this.
And that's why I'm asking him why, because I understand that until the only thing that the evidence of menacing was what you said happened that day. But you said prior to that you'd already put up cameras. And I'm asking why, because his point is that he hadn't threatened you prior to that. So I'm
He has a long history of multiple counts of stalking and violations of protection order and stuff. He's made so many comments about me, and I just had a gut feeling. Maybe just for my own peace of mind, I was like, I'm going to put up cameras because he now lives with his mom in my neighborhood, and it's very easy for him just to slide by. And I wanted to be aware if he was doing that. So I put up cameras, and it literally a week after I put up the cameras when this incident happened.
okay. Do you have a response to his questioning about how after this August incident, then you make additional videos? I think his point is that if you're afraid, you want the court to intervene, but then yet you're posting online, that you're kind of poking the bear a little bit. So some might look at it like, are you truly afraid of this person when you're doing things online that you already know antagonize him? Do you understand what I'm asking you?
I do understand what you're asking.
Okay.
And he had warrants from that incident, and
I had
he
a
was
Hold on,
singular warrant.
please let him respond. Thank
Forgive
you.
me.
he was, and people that follow him knew he had warrants. And one of the people that follows him and me sent me a screenshot of a reply that he made where they said, "Hey, you have warrants. You're going to turn yourself in." He said, "Oh, you're referring to that false report that fat piglet filed against me." So if he's saying it's a false report, I put the
Show that,
video
please.
out
We need
there.
evidence, Your Honor.
Okay, so
Your Honor.
you don't have the
If I'm in
evidence
jail,
here,
how can
that's
I-
something that somebody told you that
If I'm
he...
in jail, how can it be?
It was a message I
I'm
received.
talking to him, I'm saying he doesn't have that evidence here. I didn't say you didn't, but you would acknowledge that you're not presenting that to me, but you're saying that somebody told you that he was posting about you, so that's why you felt the need to
I put the whole story out there.
you put the whole story out there. Okay, all right.
The story that he's
So,
concocted. Scary. Forgive me, Your Honor.
no, I'm just trying to
And then
think.
he admits going to my mother's house repeatedly before and after.
She lives on a major thoroughfare.
No, it doesn't matter. You said you're looking for me. Those are your words that you verified.
I'll go back and look, but that's not what he said. He said he's never gone there
Hiding
to
himself
look for you unless you had
multiple times in one day, scared of me.
open warrant. Okay.
He walks past her house. I mean, it's a
All
lot
right,
of
hold
weird
on.
things.
You're not testifying right now. I'm
Scary.
just trying to make sure I don't have any more questions before we conclude your testimony.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I do any. Okay. Are you calling any witnesses?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Mr. Higgins,
Yes, ma'am.
are you calling yourself as a witness or are you calling your witness first?
Yeah. I'd like to make a statement while we're on the record and say that the things that I've stated up to this point are accurate statements that I would make under any statement as a witness in capacity of my own as a pro se
All right.
litigant.
So I can put you under oath and then you basically want to tell me that everything you've already said that you would just stand by. But let me put you under oath. Raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to under God or under penalties of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you've already given a lot of statements, so you want me to consider those without you repeating all of them.
Yeah,
So
yes,
you want
Your
me to consider as part of your testimony?
Yeah.
All right, is there anything new you'd like to tell me then?
Yes, Your Honor. As I mentioned, I am a conscientious objector. I have hosted and organized during the civil rights uprising in 2020 with the Floyd situation in the city. The mayor, who I've interviewed, and other political officials. I organized a peace walk between the chief of police and myself, and as an advocate for justice. I never protested once. I just made sure that the voice of the people wasn't silenced, and it would have an honest view of the truth without being tampered. So, and then I organized the Unity Walk, and then shortly after that, I created a walk with Martin Luther King's family, with a blind individual, to walk from Columbus, Ohio to Martin Luther King Monument in D.C., 580 miles on foot, for reconciliation, peace, unity, uniting the world and America worldwide, and for forgiveness and things of that nature. An awareness walk, not protests. Unity walks, not protests, not marches, nothing of that nature. I've never had a violent crime in my life. I didn't even know Mr. Badger lived on that street. If I had, after all these things, he can't say once that I've ever, in any circumstance, he can't back up any of his allegations. I've made statements against him. I have thousands and thousands.
Okay, so you didn't know he lived on that
I
street?
didn't even know he lived on the
when?
street until I found out a warrant.
That's the first you knew?
Yeah. Yep. I get called to go to crime scenes as an advocate for justice in our communities. As he mentioned, I have a lot of loyal people that follow me, and because I host a lot of philanthropy movements, Limitless community, we get 150 bread boxes filled every week. Panera Bread bakes for us 7 days a week. And then we fill all the bread boxes in the city, even though it's not just supposed to be bread. It's a perishable to remind people that we can't survive on that alone. It needs to be a reciprocal action taking place and a continual pattern of proper justice. And the essence of that is to show that to do justice is to love kindness. That's what I really believe. And that's why I've showed nothing but kindness to Mr. Badger throughout all this time, never even said his name, never responded. He can say I have, but I haven't. I really haven't. I only have a professional business account on social media, on any platform, because I'm a target from things like this taking place. As a CEO, I've had over 5,000 employees worldwide with my court reporting and philanthropy agency, Limitless Video Productions, LLC, which was founded in 2015 in Columbus. We've done Miss America productions. We've done commercials, documentaries, philanthropy movements, court reporters. We've employed over 3,000 worldwide court reporters. Not once have I ever stepped out of the integrity and the foundation of what I created it to be, which is to love kindness, to do justice, to love kindness. Leaving D.C. on terrorism and things of that nature, I utilized implementations of technology and investigations and presentations for judges and juries, which is the very reason I'm here patiently and waited, even though I'm in cuffs. I knew it would come to this. I could show you tons of information that would contradict all of his accusations, saying that he's never led to my arrest. The fact is, I've done years behind bars as an innocent man, even though they hit me with no lay prosecco. If you see in felony court I was charged with, it was, I believe in 2022 or 2023, it was concluded. They said no lay prosecco, and I said, Your Honor, it was under Page, Judge Page. I said, Your Honor, I'd like to plead guilty. And she goes, why, Mr. Higgins? And I said, because I need to show a pattern of behavior. Maybe justice will come around in the long term. That was for a police report that Mr. Badger made, even though they hit me with no lay prosecco. They offered me an Alfred plea to walk away, just don't sue for malicious prosecution or wrongful incarceration. I didn't take it, even though it would let me be with my kids. Any plea that I ever took prior to that was just so I could be a daddy. You know, I was fighting for my family patiently, and I mean in a way that is for the war room in this capacity, and not in any violent capacity, nor I would never even pick up a sword. I believe the truth is the sword. And that's truly what I believe. But if we can agree on to do justice is to love kindness, every action that I've ever made is with the hope that we could all agree on that diction, if you will. Therefore, the more justice we all have, would eventually, inevitably, in my opinion, equate to the less charity that we need. Because we're all doing the right thing. We're all holding each other accountable. I believe that rebuke is the truest sign of love. And we're also supposed to be slow to rebuke, which is why I've never said a word to this gentleman over here. I would like to represent to the court that I love Mr. Badger with all my heart. I would never want to see what's happened to me or my family or my 3 kids or my ex-wife now happen to anyone. I wouldn't. I would be heartbroken to see it, which is why I stayed patient. I had a team of people. The cops wouldn't give me these police reports. They wouldn't give me these binders. So I had to have 9 court reporters around the country make these requests. And you know what those requests showed? Mr. Badger on all of them. You know, even in his own statement, it contradicts himself, saying that, you know, he's never made these police reports, as he just stated to you, Your Honor. Never filed a police report. And then he quickly makes another statement that contradicts the initial one. And he says, I've never filed a report that I was in jail for. If you look at the 11/22/2021 report, which in 2023 was taken to no late prosecco, and I pled guilty, they couldn't believe it. Mr. Badger's the one that wrote that report. And not only did he write that report, there were 4 different versions, and every version changed. It's very, very scary what this gentleman's been able to get away with. In addition, I have evidence and recordings that we can play today that show from the Inspector General
Let's get to it then. If you want to show me something, you got to do. This is your opportunity.
Yeah. The Inspector General says that he's been offered by the FOP to utilize this as a secondary income to do this to me. I've had thousands of officers pointing guns at me, following me around, doing the very things he's admitting to do. I never responded to one because my best friend's dad was the chief of police growing up. He's like a daddy to me, you know. I would never want to see this happen to anyone, which is why I literally stayed silent, endured the injustice, with hoping that on the right occasion I would be able to present, in some situation or capacity, the true light of the situation and the reality. You know, perhaps we could call in my mother and she could be a witness to say any validity to what I'm stating, and she could review documents and present that as well.
Okay, well, if you want to call her now, we'll bring her in now, but you have to ask her questions.
Yes.
Okay, she's not putting on a case.
I get it.
Presenting a case. She's answering questions as a witness, all right?
Yeah,
but before we do that, he has a right to ask you cross-examination questions, okay?
Please.
Do you have any questions? If you do, I'm going to give you the same advisement. You're not giving testimony. Make sure they're questions. Direct it to me, and you direct your response to me, Mr. Higgins. Do you have any?
I don't have any questions for
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we can call your mother in now. Would you mind asking her? Thank you, Mr. Fox.
May I stand up, Your Honor?
Sure.
Thank you.
She's not out there right now, so give her seconds. She's not got ask her name if she knows it.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to ask any questions leading up to the witness, Your Honor?
Well, when it's your witness, you're really not allowed to lead. We'll see if there's objections are made.
Sure.
But,
Prior to her coming, may
I misunderstood your question. I'm sorry. Yes.
I'll backpedal and I'll strike that. I just want to say I've never been violent and never would be, but I am scared for my life behind this pattern of behavior. You know, I've made requests for protection orders and it never made it in front of a judge. I've filed it and it never made it in front of a judge. I don't know where it went. I'm begging for protection from this gentleman. Now, what scares me is that knowing that I'm a justice advocate is that my voice and the voice of the mockingbird, if you will, would be silenced, and I wouldn't be able to go do the things I do for the communities because he would say he's in the area, or the FOP could put lace in hair, something just morbid. I'm scared it would protect me from protecting people from having the truth of situations, you know. I mean, a no communication contact would be fine, but a CPO and hurting my life, and I already would struggle to get a job.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'd like to call this stand Beth Higgins, my
Okay,
name.
all right. Miss, can you walk around the wood paneling, and you're going to end up in the chair next to me, please. Good afternoon. I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to under God and under penalties of perjury?
I do.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness and give her a picture and ask if she knows what it is?
Okay, Deputy Rose, are you going to assist him in presenting documents to the witness?
It's going to be a lot, that's why I asked if I may approach.
I'm going to leave it up to you because he's going to want to hand
I'm not
her.
going to doctor anything. I'm just going to write this sticker and put it on the page and hand it to her and ask her if she knows these pictures.
Go ahead, just stand up here and just do it all at the same time.
Sure.
All right, thank you. First, can you state your first and last name and spell both for the record?
Beth Higgins, BETHHIGGINS.
You can inquire.
First off, thank you for your time. Do you recognize this gentleman right here from the videos about you that you've seen witness?
Yes.
Who is that?
Well, his name is Spencer Badger.
What is
I think he goes by Ben.
Officer Ben? Well, on social media. On his other
On a
accounts,
social media page, he goes by Ben.
because he has numerous accounts.
Right. Anthony Abbott, Ben, blah, 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 lots of them. Right.
Officer Ben, things of that nature.
Yep.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't have a bunch of aliases that they're talking about. I call myself Officer Ben, but this Abbott, and all this other stuff.
Okay, so
So that actually.
hold on. Same rules apply to you. If you believe she's not telling the truth, that's really just not a proper objection.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
How about relevance?
Well, I don't know if I'll overrule because I think he's about to ask her about some social media pages that she's seen
Okay.
and how she knows that it's tied to you somehow. Go ahead.
Ask you an honest question. Are you scared of this gentleman? Honestly. And what you've experienced in the videos he's posted and the things he's done and his pattern of behavior, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of dishonest things. A lot of dishonest things. He's posted video after video of you. He's posted videos of me on his channel. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's been going on for the last 4 years. And what else I'd like to say is Justin has never had one charge of violence against him, ever. Not one of them. All of this started...
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
You're here to answer
I know, I want to give a
questions, okay?
soliloquy.
All right.
Are you scared for your life from this behavior? Do you think that, you know, they say,
I don't know if I'm scared that he would hurt me, but could someone else, because he puts my name on YouTube? Absolutely.
and your address?
And my address? Yes, absolutely. Videotaping inside of my home? Yes, absolutely.
And writing the very police reports that he's why they're at your home looking for you?
Absolutely.
I'm going to hand you a few exhibits, and these are going to be marked with her initials, a B and the numerics. Okay. And this is just to
Well,
say,
no, you're using numbers, so we'll go in order. So I have we're at 9. And you're welcome to use this as a ledge too, if you need, just to put
I
this.
appreciate that. Does this picture look familiar to you?
Yeah, this is from his last YouTube thing about you, and then he brings me into it again for no reason at all, and starts talking about me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. It was just, that is taken directly from his YouTube that he just posted.
No. But that video was from
That's me.
2021. In 2021 of December, right before I went to trial the next morning.
Right. The police came to my house at 1:15 in the morning looking for Justin. I said, Justin does not live here. He will be in court tomorrow. And I said, you are welcome to walk through my house and search for him.
Yeah, I show up to court that next day.
He showed up to court the next day. And then Badger or Ben or Anthony put got the body cam and put the whole incident on YouTube.
And that was most recently republished.
He-
When I
he's
was
re-
released,
Go
when I was
ahead.
released, I was arrested again for false accusations, which I'm still fighting for calling my children.
On
He
their
said-
telephone.
Yeah, justice coming for you. He said that that's not violent. You have recollection of that voicemail, justice is coming from you, that I left to my children.
I transcribed it. You called their phone number.
You know?
And Amanda alleged that you called her. You did not call her. You did not say her name. You said the kids' names. You were not talking to her. That's pending. I expect that to be dismissed also, or go to a jury trial and you'd be found not guilty. The only reason you've ever pled guilty to stuff, Justin, is because you're tired of being in jail.
And so I could be a father.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been insane.
It's been insane. What is the title? I'm just gonna, this is the page. I want you to tell me what the title, the first 3 words are on this page, and the date that it was originally posted, and the first views that it had within the first 12 hours. It's gonna say all that at the top of it, and it's gonna tell you how many subscribers were just on that page. Now, this is not his main page. His main page is, as he stated, Columbus Police Body Cam. Correct? His main page
I don't
is
really get on his pages that often.
his 2 pages are Columbus Police Body Camera, and his second page is,
Thoughts of a patrol officer.
is that correct?
On Facebook, yes.
Okay,
One's on YouTube, one's on Facebook.
correct. Okay, so let's go to group 10. This is the transcript, okay, from that video of you, which you just verified the bullet point. And that, what's the first 3 words on it?
The video for today. Oh, drunk old woman pulls gun on cop.
And right here are the viewers within the first hour.
76,000.
And the first.
I don't know,
when
but
was that
it doesn't
post?
say.
When was it posted? What's the date on that?
September 14th, 2022.
Okay. And this is for a case that was dismissed.
And I'm not even involved in the case.
And,
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
I don't understand the relevance.
Harassment. That's what it is.
Okay, well-
She's scared.
I understand that, and
Just to show me shit.
Officer Badger's admitted he posts these to YouTube, so I get all that. I'll give you a little bit of leeway. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm going to backpedal.
But
Okay.
at the end of the day, we're not here to decide whether he's harassing
Yeah.
Mr. Higgins.
We're talking about retaliation for Justin filing Inspector General.
Foundation is an individual that has not conducted in the pattern of behavior you're being accused of, which is myself, Your Honor. And then someone that is treading in deep water and fighting for their life. And that's what we're showing through the state. Now here's his most recent post. Well, this is from January 4th, 2024, okay? Badger releases another video of me, and he reports posts, I got out of jail, okay, I made bond, Your Honor, which I'm still out on that case. It was, yes. Sorry, this is January 4th. Now, I'm still fighting this false allegation of me calling my kids, which you mentioned, okay?
Okay.
That's your page, sir?
The comment.
By you on your page, Marcus, thank you.
Okay.
And this is his face, this is his page, January 4th. And in conducted behavior, my mother said this case was dismissed. Mm-hmm. This is unbelievable, you're being let get away with this. And you know what his response was? If you don't know who Beth is, I have videos of her on my channel. He goes on to call her
Okay.
Someone who supports child beater and all this jazz. I mean, Ron, I've still never said a word to him. Okay, this is what my mother.
So is this something, because you have a witness on the stand,
Yeah,
so
I know.
you need to be asking her questions.
Yeah. Show me
About things that are within her personal knowledge, okay? So do you have any questions for Ms. Higgins?
This is, the date is right there, correct? What's that say?
January 4th.
And the page it's coming from?
Thoughts of a patrol officer.
Who's that picture of?
Ben, Anthony, Spencer, Badger.
Columbus police officer. And he posts a link there from Facebook, right?
Right, talking about me again. Thoughts of a patrol. If you don't know who Beth Higgins is, I have her on my body camera channel.
But if you can see, you actually didn't make this statement on this is Facebook, okay? This is a Facebook paste. He actually screenshotted your picture right here, posted it on Facebook, and then made this most relevant comment to say, go check it out from the author. If you posted it, it would say, posted by. It's actually him posting it just to dox you into a situation.
Well, that picture of me is not on any of my social media, so I'm not sure where he got that picture.
It's the screen thumbnail that he used, Your Honor, for the video of her calling her a drunk old woman. We're gonna
You
get.
should be the one filing the CPO.
I know.
All right, but you didn't, okay? But I understand that's part of your defense, but I can't decide. I'm not going to make any findings as to whether he's engaging in harassment.
Right.
Do you understand? It's
Yes,
whether
correct.
you are.
Yeah.
No. Mr. Badger has said that he's never made any public comments about him sleeping with my wife. Can you recall any statements he's ever made in regards to doing that? Or, better yet, the investigatory products that were going out? Was he releasing those investigatory products to the public? Like an internal affairs call? Something that's seriously private, it's considered.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I know the kid said that he was at their house often
Yeah, let me narrow it down. That was before they asked.
and that he liked donuts.
It was convoluted. Strike that. Do you recall a video? Do you recall a situation where I called internal affairs begging for help?
Yeah,
Begging.
I did too.
Crying. You remember he made a video called Wolf Bro Calls Internal Affairs on me?
I don't remember all the videos.
Okay. This is 12 man. Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. I'd like to just snap right to it. Get to it for you. The calls go on to say, and you're going to see this in a second, I've lost my family. I've lost my job. I've lost my business. Every dollar.
She told you she was going to set you up. She did. And she had help.
I'm just going to lodge this in, and if you'd like to question the legitimacy behind it.
Well, what is it?
It's the transcript from his video that she already verified. Wolf Bro Calls Internal Affairs on me. Okay?
From whose video?
It's right here. It's just actually a printout directly from, right here it says.
All right. Can you show this to Officer Badger? So you're saying this is something that a video he posted, and this is a transcript of that video? Okay.
Time and date stamps. Yes, sir.
And he called internal affairs and said that I was sleeping with
No,
his
that's not a
wife.
question pending for him.
And
You're on.
I posted that phone call.
Okay, that's what that is.
Nailed
Is
it.
it?
It's his phone call to
Okay.
accusing me of sleeping with his wife.
He's considering this harassment, Your Honor, that I'm going through the proper channels. I mean,
But he's not using that as a basis for his protection order today,
I know.
though. Okay, just, all right. Okay, so,
criminal defense, this is all under. There's already a pending sanction, as we mentioned, on Mr. Badger over here. He has no immunity.
okay.
It's very important because so often justice doesn't prevail.
Do you, just while we're on this line of questioning, do you believe, because Officer Badger testified that you were accusing him of having an affair with your wife, do you believe that?
Yeah, I do.
You do believe it, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I actually,
And the kid said he was there all the time.
spending the night.
No, just wait. Okay, so when he said that you've accused him of that, you're not denying that. You have accused him of that. In fact, you believe it's actually happening.
But here's the thing.
Not now.
I've never publicly accused him of anything. I have gone through the appropriate channels. That is an internal affairs.
Okay, I understand that.
Correct.
Okay, that's
He
fair.
subpoenaed the investigation that pertained to him and then released it.
Hold on. Sir, are you denying?
Having an affair with his wife?
Yes.
I absolutely did not have an affair with his wife.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Higgins?
Yeah.
Based on her relevant knowledge, personal knowledge?
I have 3 children. Grandchildren, correct?
Sir.
Correct.
Unless you're showing her document, okay?
Are you aware of conversations that you've actually been in directly with our children, our family, where they mentioned Mr. Badger and verified who he is?
I don't think they knew his name, but they described him to a T
Yeah.
and said that he was at your house
Yeah.
a lot. Yes.
Yeah. My neighbors verified it. My children verified it. The police reports verify it. You, in fact, verify it.
She has?
He's verified it.
Well, just that-
Verified what?
He's been there numerous
Oh,
times.
right.
Over 20 times.
Okay.
But he says a lot of things contradict, and appropriate legal counsel will be following up for me on this. Stand by, please. Forgive me. Thank you. Beautiful. I'm just going to, I'm going to label this what my office labeled it. All of these have been, these are pictures, and I'm just going to streamline it for us, okay? This section will be live stream arrest videos posted by Spencer Badger. All of these have been reposted multiple times. And this doesn't even cover the gauntlet of
I think we should show his Ring doorbell stuff.
we will. We've already sent that. We're going to get there.
Are
That's
you-
completely different.
Listen, you need to be asking her questions or I'm going to move on to cross-examination and release her. Do you have any questions for her? It's not you giving testimony, it's testimony you're listening from your witness, okay?
Yeah.
That's why I want to make it clear.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to label this 12. I think we're on 12.
We're on 13.
Oh, forgive me.
You're fine.
Okay. May I? Sure. I'm just going to need these.
Does each page need marked?
You can collectively mark that as 13.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is
That's
that
fine.
okay?
Yes.
And then I'll just, for the record, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's a 6-page document?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. Might want to verify that. Hands. And this is just within 1 year. Okay. Post that he's made within 1 year. We've already mentioned 24th, the 4th of October 23, January 4th of 24, April of 24, 2 weeks ago of 24.
All right, but are you asking your witness anything about these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to know if those look familiar and what they are for the record, and then what that will. It should be live stream arrests, right? Can you just tell me the dates on those live stream arrest videos?
September 27, 2021.
It's all 1 year.
On another thing, that was Wolfbro gets arrested during another live. Wolfbro Part 1 arrested on the scene of SWAT barricade. Wolfbro speaks to Sergeant, that's on page 2. Wolfbro Part 2 speaks to Sergeant and threatens to sue the officers. That's February 2, 2021. Wolfbro Part 3, mugshot and fingerprints after being arrested at the scene of a SWAT barricade, February 5, 2021. I think this was all during George Floyd went to his video.
This is just 1 year.
Okay, I understand that, but why are you asking her to
Identify it.
to identify these documents? That's what I can't figure out.
Because during that time period, your house was raided 5 times. Well, they looked for me. 5 times officers came to you within a month for a CPO. I'd never even been served.
I can't remember how many times, but they came to my house many times in the middle of the night.
By singular officers,
Yeah,
correct?
and after he posted that one, drunk old woman pulls gun on cop, I'm allowed to be drunk in my own house, first of all. Second of all,
He showed the dwelling of
many
the
other times, police came in the middle of the night and banged on the door and looked in all my windows.
Okay.
And
alone.
it's been insane. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Not that that has anything to
No.
do with this, but when I watch the video that he has, there is no verbalization on camera of you saying I'm going to fucking whatever, hurt him or whatever.
All right.
Just to clarify, you've actually viewed the most recent video that he posted on YouTube, Thoughts of Patrol Officer, which he's sworn that his channel he solely conducts. You viewed the most recent video.
I viewed it when I was waiting to testify again.
And what did you ever see at any point me threaten his life or anything under the menacing conduct at all?
It's not there.
Why?
And why isn't it? I don't know, because I have the same Ring doorbell thing above my garage, and you can hear people talk.
Absolutely.
If you can hear the horn honk, you can hear people yelling.
Boom. Thank you very much. Let's go move on. And
So he's exaggerating.
no, he's lying, actually. Mr. Badger said, Your Honor, when you questioned him before the second line, that he'd never filed, remember, a police report, correct? And then he quickly contradicted himself. He's never filed a police report that I was incarcerated for or found guilty of. So this will be
Only the
14.
ones.
This will be 14. This is for the court. And this is just within the first 6 months of dealing with Spencer Badger. And it doesn't cover all the reports that he's made. Here you go, Sid. Can you show Mr. Badger that? And do those look like police report numbers to you, sir?
They look like incident numbers.
Perfect.
So those are all the ones that were dismissed and he charged.
Okay, well, listen, I don't understand why you're asking your mother this line of questioning.
Because her
Okay.
house was raided during that time period.
All right, well, she said it was.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's
I
all I
have
know.
that testimony, but she can't authenticate.
He authenticated it as well.
Right, he did.
Yeah.
Right, when you could have had him authenticate it. You have her on the stand.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
So,
Can I have that to still have as
yeah,
an exhibit for myself and you?
yes.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm going to ask you one more time.
Yeah.
Ask her questions about things that she has relevant personal knowledge about, okay?
Yep. So not once did I ever threaten his life in that video.
I'm sorry?
Did I ever threaten to kick his ass or anything of that nature?
Not in the video, no. And it
Is it-
would have picked it up. It picked up the horn. I have the same camera.
Did it
And I
pick up
know
the
what
horn
it
beep?
picks up and what it doesn't pick up.
Did it pick up the horn beep?
Yeah, it did.
Interesting.
Barry,
I've talked to you about, we've lived in Cranston my whole life since you started your own court reporting company how many years ago?
we've lived there long. We've lived there. I've had my court reporting business longer than that, but I've been in that house for 33 years.
Okay. Did I ever talk about going to Badger's house and after all the shit that we've done?
Never.
Colloquial, sorry.
So
Never.
no?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I said no.
Correct? No. No, correct.
Got it. Next question.
Do you recall me ever saying, I'm so grateful this is happening to me and not someone else?
I don't remember that if I did.
Yeah. You recall throughout the years of being menaced and stalked and harassed by this Columbus police officer, Spencer Badger, that you've identified?
Leading
I mean,
questions?
they sit,
No,
they
this is
sit outside
identifying.
of
This
my
is identifying.
house. They sit outside of my house all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, for no
So,
reason.
You know, and since he posted the drunk old woman pulls gun on cop, I never answer my door for the police anymore.
Okay.
And I tell him that. I'm not answering the door. I'm not going to be on YouTube again.
Yeah.
I choose not to be a YouTube queen for Badger. No.
Yeah. Would you say badgered by Badger?
What?
Would you say you've been badgered by
Pretty
Badger?
much.
All right. I mean, I understand your point.
That's right.
They feel like your YouTube, your
actual court
social media
terminology.
activity, they feel harassed by that. Okay. That's how they feel.
It's also normal lexicon for court documentation. And
I
when you say,
understand.
you know, and I'm not trying to badger the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have another question for her?
I do. Thank you.
Ask it, please.
Are you aware that there are police reports that he's concocted, if you will, that I've been incarcerated for?
I don't understand the question.
Are you aware that some of the police reports that I pled guilty to were ones that he created?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them that were dismissed because Amanda lies, his wife, and she's using the justice system as a weapon against Justin. And he's helping her. Amanda is his ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
The one that got the CPO. And the original CPO was he threw a shirt on me.
Yeah, the symptoms. And are you aware that for that CPO, I was incarcerated on the false allegation I could never even defend myself?
Your Honor,
Correct.
that has nothing to do with this.
It has a lot to do with it.
Well, what does that have to do with it?
Well, in his statement, he says that he's going against my house and all this domestic violence allegations he's making in his written statement. He's verified here. I have never had one domestic violence. I had public defenders, Your Honor, that did an excellent job. Every single case was dismissed.
Okay, we're not here to retry all of
It's
the
just, I
underlying
guess,
cases.
yeah.
I understand your point is that you believe that they were false allegations,
They're
that
dismissed
charges
cases.
shouldn't have been brought. He's a police officer. He had some involvement. You believe that he's supporting Amanda because they're
Correct.
having an affair.
Correct.
I
Not
get
only
all
that. Yeah.
Okay,
Not only that.
but
Okay.
at the end of the day, all that could be true.
Yes.
I'm not saying it is. But if I found that all true,
Okay.
that doesn't give you the right to engage in menacing by stalking, okay?
Sure,
So I just want to
absolutely.
make sure you address that allegation.
Absolutely.
Because, okay.
Stand by, please.
What? You have to take a pain pill? Okay, we can take a break so you can do that in case anybody else has to go to the restroom or anything. All right, we can do that. Your mother needs to take her medication now. Okay, so I'm just going to take 10 minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
I need the binder with the police reports.
The others?
I'm going to put him on the stand next. Do you have anything that you'd like to discuss? Or do you think we covered it? I need the line.
I would keep saying, there's no evidence. He wanted to continue today without a witness because the only person
Oh,
that he
we're
says
past that.
can
He's waived
verify.
his Garrity. He's under oath and everything. Is there anything else that you want me to question you about?
I don't think so.
Okay. What's this?
Not very much fun.
No.
Is there any, have you ever seen someone reverse protection order or CPO?
What?
Have you ever seen someone reverse a protection order or CPO?
What do you mean reverse?
Like, as if I had filed it?
No, you have to actually file it.
I do. Okay. Thank you, brother. Shit. To date. Dang. What time is it, boss? Thank you, brother. They keeping you busy?
Yeah. She was afraid. She was the person. I guess it's just I forgot the lunch.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Lord, protect me, Father. Grant me clarity. Getting paid overtime right now, big dog?
You can't go between.
Okay, my fault.
You take the place back on the stand, she should be back there.
What's your first name?
Jeff.
It's all Rose. I think that was your first name.
Oh, man.
No, Sergeant Rose is the one from Internal Affairs that said no wrongdoing. How do you know he's a cop?
Oh. No.
Is he out there?
Huh?
Where's he at?
What?
Rose?
I don't remember that. I mean, I don't remember the name of the person who said it.
That's Internal Affairs, though. There's many roses. Boy, did I get what I needed.
Everybody can see this, please.
All right.
It's on the record.
Right.
All right, you can ask a question.
All right. Madam Higgins, I know you had a slip and fall, if I'm not mistaken, recently. You said you needed a break to take some medication. I know you had a slip and fall. Is there any medication that you're on right now that would prohibit you from being able to recall the truth about any situation or prohibit you from doing so?
No.
Okay. Just wanna
And
make
for the record, I took a break because she said she needed her pain meds, and I did send the record she needed to take her medication. But I'm not seeing any evidence of impairment or anything like that today. That's not. But I did know that I understand when pain management has to be regimented. So, okay. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I wasn't
Oh, I
testing
know,
you, Your Honor.
but I understand, like, I think that's a fair point. That's good that you put all that on the record. All right, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. When I've been at your house in recent years, because I've had no place to go, I've been homeless throughout, losing my family, my house, my business, my money, everything, my clothes. Have I spent 90% of my time behind closed doors because I've stated that I'm scared?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor. She's speaking to his state of mind.
No. Let me clarify.
I'm
Let
going
me
to
clarify.
overrule because she's, as his mother,
Let me
I
clarify.
mean, you can lay a little bit more foundation,
Yeah, yeah.
but witnesses can testify to their observations about
Sure.
somebody's,
Okay.
I'll delve deeper.
go ahead.
And I know this is not comfortable. You've suffered right next to me throughout this entire experience.
Is that a question?
So you would say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Your Honor.
Oh. Where'd they go?
Right here.
Oh, wait, I had some. Sorry. Thank you. You can keep that.
Okay, thanks.
You've suffered from, you okay? The harassment, not from necessarily the police, just the continual pattern of behavior from Mr. Badger, would you say?
Yep.
I'm trying to defame even your credibility as a professional in your own capacity that you've proven yourself, correct?
For 47 years.
Yep. You've watched your grandchildren be stolen over and over in regards to these situations that Mr. Badger's created, and we can show that soon to the court with the reports. Correct?
Correct. They've been stolen from you and me.
Yeah.
And our family.
There's a statement or a quote that goes somewhere by, you're better with quotes than I assure you, but the worse the situation gets, the more severe actions people take, right? And sometimes those can be fatal. And
I don't understand your hypothetical.
would you say that Mr. Badger's behavior has not only continued, but justice has started to come out slowly but surely in regards to the truth about the scenarios we've experienced? Because at first it was all stacked against us with no voice, correct?
Right.
Okay, I don't know what
So
you're asking
here's-
her. You got to ask her a question that she can, a fact that she can
And-
answer to.
Sure. So now that you can look over the situation, prior to this situation, did you ever have cameras on your house?
No.
When he created that first video of you called Drunk Old Woman, did you have cameras on your house then?
No.
Did you get cameras after that event?
Yeah.
Why did you get cameras after that event?
Because I wanted to know who was at my door.
Were you
And
scared?
I never answer the door. Ever. Daytime or nighttime.
And prior to this situation and them coming, if I may, did I interrupt you?
If someone hasn't announced that they're coming to visit me.
Correct. And that's just been recent.
No, I've always done that. I live alone. I'm a woman. I don't answer the door. Especially at 1:15 in the morning.
Fair enough. Especially since your boys haven't been there, but let me be more accurate. Your security heightened significantly after the harassing pattern of behavior by Mr. Badger, correct?
Correct.
And getting back to where we started, some of this. I have stayed at your house because I've had nowhere to go throughout this past 5 years, correct?
Right.
And you get upset with me because the door is always closed, correct?
Right.
And what is the reason I say?
Because you don't feel comfortable. And you're scared.
Your Honor, I still don't understand the relevance of what this has to do with him.
I'm in fear for my life of this individual, Your Honor, and that's the truth, and so is my mother.
He was in fear he wouldn't come to my house.
I never went to his house, Your Honor. I was visiting a friend. And if I was going to his house and fleeing from the police, don't you think they would have followed? The only reason I turned around in his cul-de-sac, Your Honor, because they're blocking the road. I thought that they maybe were just... like I said, I didn't even know that was this Mr. Badger's house, right? So I'm sitting in this lady's driveway. She comes out, and I didn't even flee from her. I spoke to his neighbor, and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm just waiting to go see my buddy Nick Smith. He's lived here for years. He's your neighbor. She says, "Oh," and goes back in her home. I even talked to her and spoke to her. So when I realized that these officers weren't going to pass through and I had to go around, which is why I left from that area and couldn't go through. It's simple as that. And when I beeped the horn, Your Honor, it was to say goodbye to that kind old...
So you beeped the horn
when I was leaving and said goodbye to her.
Okay.
It wasn't screaming at any point at any individual. Where would that even make sense?
Okay.
So now that we've concluded that,
If you did, it would have been on the Ring doorbell. You would have heard it.
which he publicized and posted and you viewed and verified, correct?
Yeah. And several
Is there-
some people have viewed it also.
How has this affected everybody in your family?
You mean the whole situation from beginning to end?
Yeah.
It's devastating.
And right now I'm behind bars. Why?
One is for a felony, and the felony was Amanda came to the house 10 minutes early for a drop-off. And that's
Alleged.
That's a CPO. She said he walked up to her car.
And it's on camera.
He never did that.
It's on camera.
Your Honor,
Okay.
none of this has anything to do with me.
It has
Okay.
a lot to do with
Well,
just
I would
why I'm in
caution-
jail.
Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
You get it?
I apologize if I'm the one interrupting.
You're
I
okay.
get to do that, okay?
Absolutely.
So as soon as I interrupt, I expect everyone to let me talk, okay?
Absolutely.
I didn't go over that ground rule in the beginning, though. So I apologize,
shouldn't
but
need to.
I will say I told you two not to interrupt each other, but I can interrupt you. Sorry. I would caution you if you're going to explore that line of questioning, even though you're asking witness questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's cases that are open.
Yeah.
You know, and
I get
people, I don't know if your mother will end up being a witness in that case.
Yeah, the state's
I don't
operates
know
out
if you
there.
want to go down this line of questioning
Yeah.
about the merits of that case. Do you understand?
Sure. I'll
Now,
clarify.
certainly if you start testifying about it, then I would advise you have a Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself, okay?
Correct.
Now,
I'll
that doesn't
tighten it
apply to
up.
her, but I'm just suggesting, I don't know if she's going to be a necessary witness. If
I'll
you
tighten
start
it up.
listening testimony.
Yeah. I'll tighten the questions.
All right, thank you. And there's an objection to relevance. I understand that you two are laying the groundwork that you're the ones that are being harassed.
Yeah.
Sometimes both things can be true, okay? So that's why I'm giving you a little bit of leeway, but
Yeah.
that's not you proving that this officer is harassing you and your family
Okay.
doesn't necessarily end the case. If I
Right.
don't find like, you know what, I think that you are two the ones being harassed, case closed, it's still about what you did that day.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm not going to let you have trial upon,
Right.
open this hearing
Now you
about.
know.
So I understand
Perfect.
that you're defending yourself in that other matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
May
About
I-
your ex-wife.
I'll tighten it
but-
up here.
All right.
The very day, August 17th, 2024, the reason for the case that was just dismissed, this menacing case that we're talking about, and we're defending
That was
right
filed
now,
by-
and it was filed by Badger and his buddy, okay? And that's this gentleman to my right, correct?
Right.
Okay. Where was I going that morning? Where was I headed to?
My house is.
Why? Why was I headed to your house?
We were supposed to see the kids.
Yeah, there was a visitation with my wife and children. Did she show up to the
Wait a
visit?
minute, a
There was a
visitation with
visitation
your wife and
where my
children?
wife was dropping the children off. And I was supposed to have with the children, correct?
Yes.
And you were meeting her out of the county. You're supposed to. So I
Right.
would show up normally
You would
early
get-
to help,
you would get to my
prep
house
food,
early.
clean up, whatever, correct?
You would get to my house early. I would leave, go pick the kids up in Sunbury and bring them back, and you would be there.
Correct. And they didn't show up that day, did they?
No.
I don't understand the relevance of this either.
Now, this is the day,
What is the
the
relevance?
day of
Hold on.
the
What's
day.
the relevance?
Sure.
Because I understand
That's
the
why I was in the
relevance that
neighborhood.
okay. All right. Overruled. Go ahead.
That's why I was in the neighborhood.
Okay.
This is August 17th, 2024, the day I got the charge, correct?
Right.
The day that it went from a split second police report, like Mr. Badger said, why didn't it go right after him? Well, why would they go right after me? What validity do they have behind these accusations? It's just continual malicious behavior.
Your Honor, he's
Of
not
targeting.
asking
It's
her
targeting, Your
questions
Honor.
anymore.
Silence
I
him.
know. Thank
It's time to be silenced.
All right. No, what he's saying is you're not asking questions. Do you have a question?
So I'll stop with the narrative, okay? I'm gonna make it a little. I left your house heartbroken because why?
Because you didn't get to see the kids.
And neither did you.
Right.
And what did we have planned that day?
Play in the pool, cook out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We had like 25 hamburgers and
The whole
brats.
family was
The
coming
pool was
to
ready to go.
Okay,
Ready-
so you left. You're heartbroken.
That's why I was in the.
You
ne-
have-
That's why I was in the neighborhood, Your
on
Honor.
his street.
No, she lives 2 streets over from my mother.
Okay, so
2
you
streets
were.
over.
So you were never on his
Yeah.
street.
I was there, Your Honor. Let me clarify. Yes, I was on the street.
Okay.
I showed up early. I had left a girlfriend's in Upper Arlington. I left her place at 9 a.m. I came to Bradenton because I was early to my mom's. She wanted me to be there around 10 o'clock, which is normal because she goes and meets the kids at 12 or something like that because it's like 11. So I'm usually there an hour early. I'm an hour and a half early, and I'm passing through a neighborhood that I frequent. I grew up in, and I pulled to see my buddy Nick if he was home, you know. And he wasn't. I called Nick. He said, I'll be there later in the day. So I said, great, maybe since I don't have the kids every night, I'll come and see you when I leave my mother's. Boom, end of conversation. Well, lo and behold, I had left. That was it. I pulled through his neighborhood. I called Sam to see, hey, is your motorcycle in the garage? Because I know you're riding your motorcycle now, you know. And it's not like his car was there. I wouldn't have to even call him. Lo and behold, that's why I drove through patiently the first time in the morning at 9 a.m., okay? And then that's 3085 Brightington. That's 5 houses down from where Mr. Badger lived. I didn't even have a clue. I mean, to be honest, I would have had at least a 10-year-old go toilet paper his mailbox. You know, it's a joke. You know, just kidding.
Do you have any more questions for your witness?
So I left your house and went back to Nicole's. To your knowledge, I left your house around 12 o'clock, correct?
I can't remember.
Because we waited for the kids. I left pretty soon after.
Well, we didn't wait for the kids because I knew.
Yeah, I found out we weren't having them. I tried to use the laundry in your basement.
Objection, Your Honor. This has nothing to do with the
It
time.
has everything to do with the timeline, Your Honor.
Okay, you're trying to establish a timeline, but you're leading her. Just
Okay.
ask. So what happened? So when did he
When I
leave
was at your
house?
house, I tried.
What time did he leave your house?
I don't know what time you left.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But it was within an hour and a half because I got some clothes and video
Right,
equipment. Is
because
that
you brought in
correct?
the washing machine,
Okay.
and my dryer didn't work.
Boom.
I'm still trying to get it
Okay,
fixed.
to
So we left.
this point, that's all irrelevant.
Okay, perfect.
You left.
So I left.
Okay. Do you have more questions for your witness?
Yeah. That was it that day, right? The next thing you know, I have a warrant for my arrest.
Right, you called me up and said I have a warrant.
Yeah. That same day.
How do you know? And you said the dispatcher called me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the dispatcher
That's
is,
not in dispute.
who's the dispatcher?
I,
What does he do for me? It's important because it shows validity. He works for the city.
He calls Justin when crimes are going on because he videotapes and
Okay.
For the communities.
things.
Okay.
He validifies the severity and the authenticity of situations I'm getting into
All right.
for the communities. That's it.
Okay, but
So
do you
I
have
told her that I had a warrant.
Okay.
And she said, how? I said, I don't know. I'm figuring it out. During this time
It's all
period.
after the fact.
This is the whole day. This is what happened that day. There's no menacing. It's a build up. So I'm going to end it here.
All you're doing is asking your leading questions.
I know. I'm gonna end it here.
Because that's
leading-
not in dispute.
We're at the conclusion.
I believe you that you were charged and had
Yeah.
a warrant. We already know that.
Yeah,
So is there
I
anything
apologize.
new that you need to explore? And I get that was upsetting to find out.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. You done?
I need 1 second before I let her disclose.
Okay.
One second, Ron.
I think we've covered it. There's no
I just want to make
evidence.
sure that I'm covering my crossing the capital Q and the T. One sec.
Your Honor, I don't think in any of the folders of paperwork he's going to demonstrate that he was not at my house that day.
No, there's nothing that you can demonstrate that I've ever menaced you in your life. That's what's going
That
to,
you-
and I don't think that it's
Well,
funny.
as I said, I'm giving him leeway because he says he's not denying he was there. He's saying he was there not to menace you, and he believes you made it up.
Absolutely made it up. In fact,
So that's what he's trying to show is that
You're
you're harassing him and his family, and that you have grounds to try to get him to trouble.
because you're unraveling. He's unraveling with the Inspector General. He's been found guilty by the Department of Justice, the Inspector General, the Director
All right.
of Public Safety.
Justin?
So, what are you? You've got your
Listen,
witness on the stand.
let's conclude.
So-
Let's conclude then with her witness, if I may. I'm sorry.
All right.
Last questions. Two questions.
Great.
Would you ever want to see any harm come to any individual that you've ever encountered in your life?
Relevance.
Overruled. Just answer.
No, I don't like to see harm to anybody, ever.
Have I ever committed a violent crime in my life?
Never,
Okay.
never, never been charged with it. Nothing.
In reflection of everything that you've been questioned today, is there anything that you'd like to say? This is your voice.
Only that I've watched the videos several times, and at no point did Justin yell, "I'm gonna fucking kick his fucking ass." And one thing, Badger today said he was in the backyard or something. On the videos, said he was in his house. So, you know.
All right. Well, you're not making a closing argument.
No,
You
I'm
can
not,
leave- Okay.
but
That's what you're
just
doing.
things that I'm noticing.
But now you're acting like his lawyer by trying to draw conclusions from his testimony.
Okay.
That's not appropriate. So
All right.
I understand your point.
Okay.
So is there anything that you haven't been asked in regards to what you know pertaining to the situation at hand and the menacing? Is there anything you'd like to mention?
I think we've covered it.
Every time we leave the house, we leave Grandma and Grandpa's, I leave the house, Michael leaves the house, what do we do?
We hug and kiss each other.
And when we get in the car and we drive away, what do you do with the kids every time you leave?
Run outside and wave and
When you're driving down the street and the kids are still in the car, what do you do?
oh, after we leave you?
Yeah, and they're still in the car, and I'm waving still.
Oh, we honk the horn and Justin's in the driveway waving and before we get to the end of the street, Hazel's like, "I miss my daddy."
Yeah, but the pattern is we
And
always
the
beep the horn when we
goes,
say goodbye.
"Already?"
We always beep the horn when we say goodbye.
Right.
We always have done that. And whether it be some kind of song or a rhythm, it's always been a beep of the horn of kindness, hasn't it?
In love.
I love you. I'm sorry that you've experienced this, and
Okay. Are you done asking questions?
I'm done,
All right.
Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Badger, do you have any questions for Ms. Higgins?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time today. You're excused. I'm going to ask you to return to the hallway.
Okay. Will I be coming back in when it's concluded or? I mean, I don't know what's next, I guess.
I'm just going to question him about a couple things, and then boom.
But
Can I
I
put him
won't.
on the stand?
Oh, I need to come back in and get my brief.
Yes, you can do that at the end.
Okay. This is just the police reports and things of that nature. He said that he.
Well, I already gave you a chance to cross-examine him. What do you want to ask him? You're excused.
I just want to ask him if these are the police reports that he's made, because
What?
he represented to the court that he's never made any police reports. He lied straight to your face on oath, admitted to the Inspector General. I just want to get it in front of you, and you have it as an exhibit of fact. Is that okay? It's for you. It's printed out from my office. It's an index.
All right.
and captions.
Gather all the documents you want to submit the evidence, and then we'll let him. Well, hang on. I need him. Hold on.
Forgive me.
You're
This is
fine.
for you, Your Honor.
I understand that, but
discuss it.
I can't look at anything without him knowing what I'm looking at. So
Sure.
I'm going to let him look at it first.
This is an investigatory discovery process packet right here.
Okay.
They're indexes and caption sheets, and these are things that you'll be familiar with for presentations in the judiciary setting in front of judges and juries. Does it go in front of the judge and jury immediately? No, it goes in front of people that have the ability to settle, right? Or dismiss the case entirely.
Okay.
So this is all of the domestic cases that has been, and so it's going to say the indexes are going to be all of the dates and reports and preliminary investigation numbers. And then the captions and things of that nature are going to be the same thing with a thorough statement behind what's behind it and who did it and what police officer made the reports.
So those are the documents you created? And
No,
then...
these are coming straight from the FOP and the investigation.
Okay. We'll let Mr. Badger look at them first.
So you're wanting to give this to her?
Yeah, I just wanted him to verify it, and then we can stick it as a...
Yeah. Okay.
Are we on...
Your Honor, who is he saying provided these to him?
I
15?
don't know. So you can't authenticate those documents?
No.
Okay, so he can't authenticate those.
These did not come from the police.
Fine.
All right.
I'll authenticate them then, if we want to go
How are
longer.
you going to authenticate them?
With the police report themselves. Would you like to do
Let me
that, or
see
can
them.
he just...
Your Honor, I think what he's saying is
He's
that
scared
he
to have the
requested
truth.
Every
scared.
police report that was ever taken at his house, and he has put
No.
a summary of those in all of those pages that you have there.
Okay, this looks like you said, this is an itemized list. Who created this document?
That's coming from my office.
Okay, so you created it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I had asked you earlier. If you created it, you said no. But so that these
Well,
are just
I mean-
what you created. Okay, that's fine. You created this, so you authenticate it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that these are reports and arrests?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I'll mark that as your exhibit 15.
Your Honor, he's trying to relitigate all of his criminal cases.
No, Your Honor, I'm just showing, I'm concluding everything.
I understand your point. Okay.
I'm concluding everything in the pattern. And here's where it's going to take place right now. Your Honor, in regards to the caption and the exhibits, what exhibit are we on right now?
16 at this
16?
point. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 16. 16A, 16B. So we know it's 2 pages. Actually, why don't we do this? This is where we can basically draw up to a conclusion. I'm going to mark all these as one exhibit. It's all from one post. So we might not do the A, B whole thing. Okay.
You don't have to. So are we doing 16?
Yeah, we're going
16.
to do 16.
Okay.
No, I think my Latin's off here, but I mentioned the noli prosecco. I mentioned the charge noli prosecco and then the plea of guilty, and that was what shocked, where we kind of started off this morning, the magistrate, when she said, "Why would you do that when we told you we're letting you go home today?" And I said, "Because it all adds up." Thank you. Those are from your live stream, sir? Screenshots from your live stream video you made in October of 2023, sir. Is that accurate? God bless you.
Okay. These are all screenshots from the municipal court's webpage.
Actually, those are not from a webpage. That's from a live stream. As you can see your picture on the live stream video.
I put screenshots from the municipal court in my video.
Okay.
I'm just going to give them a straight page. This is, Your Honor, just one of the many cases that I've been incarcerated for long periods of time, and Mr. Badger's stalking, harassing, violating my constitutional rights, freedom of anything. And as you'll see in the caption in the index that I gave you, I'm not sure if we marked the captions in the index, did we?
I marked that as 15.
That might be 17.
What?
Oh, there's 15?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So as you can see, 11, 22, 21 is the same thing on the new exhibit 16, where it says 11, 22, 21. That's the report the Badger created and I pled guilty to. And the prosecution already said they didn't have enough. I have just like to conclude it here, if I may, and forgive me, okay?
You're
Mr. Badger, after all these years, all this stuff you've done, and making these posts that you've mentioned and verified, why didn't you put a protection order up against me before? Why wouldn't you do that?
Is that a legitimate question? I asked for a protection order because he came to my house
okay.
and threatened me.
All right.
But the record shows, does it not, that you can't back that up with facts? What you can back it up with is a verified statement that you made, Badger, that you go past my mother's looking for me often, sometimes numerous times a day. We already verified that statement and the screenshot from your voice. It's all right. You've already
Asked and answered.
So I'm just going to read a statement, if I may, because this is important.
Okay, before we do that, because I'm going to let, if you're reading a statement, that's more of a closing statement, then I'm going to let, he gets to make his closing first, okay?
Sure.
So then I'll let you close. Before I get to that, though, so you're not calling any further witnesses,
Sure.
correct? I did want to ask you, sir, you heard the testimony a couple times that they have both seen a video you posted of the incident. They're saying that yes, you can hear him honk the horn, but you never hear him make any threats. Do you have any response to that? Because their point, his point is that if this threat was made that your neighbor heard it, that didn't get picked up by the video. So
Yeah, it's because he slowed down and stopped before my video camera kicked on. And my neighbor was sitting at the car, you can see him turn around and look at the vehicle. The video starts where he's driving away and blaring on the horn.
so you're saying that would have already happened?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I wouldn't have even known that it happened if my neighbor hadn't said so.
Okay.
And then when officers responded, he gave that statement to the police. The police did a blind photo array, and he identified Justin as.
So how's he going to identify me when I'm driving away and he can't see my face? It's just badgering. It's just belittling. It's
Okay,
just
so,
blatant.
but you were there.
With my
so-
friend, yeah. To see my
So that's
friend.
not unusual that the neighbor identified you because it was you. You're saying you just didn't make the threat.
No, I didn't do
So
any
that's
of it.
really not, the issue isn't
Right.
whether,
I still don't know what house he lives in.
okay, and that actually, thank you, because that was going to be my next question. You heard his testimony
I really don't.
that he was there because his buddy Nick Smith lives there.
No,
And-
yeah, a couple houses down here.
A couple houses down. I know, on the street, sorry.
Right.
That's all he was doing was he was there early, decided to swing by, see if his friend was home, talked to a lady, then honked the horn, left.
Right. Left honking the horn, saying bye.
Left honking the horn, okay.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that that version of the events doesn't match up with the real timeline. He came by my house at, let's see, I called in at 9:57, so he came, I think it was 9:21 on the security camera footage.
Sure.
My neighbor was outside at his trunk. Justin yelled and screamed some things. My neighbor looked at him. Justin drove away, beeped the horn. My neighbor texted my wife. My wife called me. I walked over, talked to my neighbor. I called the police. Police came to the house. They did the photo array, all of that stuff. They agreed to set up guard duty on my house. While the officers, it was actually a sergeant and a lieutenant, were still sitting in front of my house, my wife came running out of the house saying, "Oh my God, he's right there." And that's when he was at the neighbor's.
What about, what
talking to the
time,
old lady.
what time was that?
Yes, that's a lot.
It was probably 2 hours later.
So you're saying that's when he was talking to
The neighbor lady.
the lady that I agreed in her 50s
Like,
isn't
like
old.
I'm gonna come, like yeah, like I'm gonna come by in the area, and
right.
2 hours later
I
screaming,
understand
and
you
then just sit there and
I
like, hey
understand
guys,
you
come
refute
arrest me.
that. Okay.
And then
You know,
speed off and not get a
listen,
ticket.
Hold on. The reason
When I
why
have a
I'm
warrant.
asking additional questions is because I'd already given him a chance to cross-examine you, but
It
you
is
gave that
unreal.
additional testimony about why you're there when your mom was actually on the stand.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure everything was fully addressed.
Right.
All right.
He did the beeping of the horn 2 hours before he ever spoke to her.
Right.
And that woman lives alone. There's nobody that lives there with her.
Okay. Do you know a Nick?
No.
Could there Nick lived on there? Like, do you know every single person on your street and their name?
I don't know their names, but I'm familiar with them. And there's nobody in that area
Does
that
anybody
has
have a
children.
pool? Does anybody have nobody on the street that what? Please.
They don't have children that are like his age.
How would he know that? It's false. It's false. First
All
off,
right.
to
Okay, he doesn't believe that your friend Nick
It's an
lives
absolute lie.
there, but you're telling me Nick lives there.
Yeah, with his
Okay.
mother. His mother lives there. He
Who's
doesn't
his
live
mother?
there anymore.
Who's his mother?
Huh?
What's her name?
Brenda.
Brenda?
Yeah.
Do you know a Brenda?
I don't know. I don't know her name.
Yeah.
Okay. Could there be, so,
But the woman that I spoke to said she had no clue who this person was, and that she was afraid that he was casing her house. And I said, "Don't worry, he wasn't casing your house. He was here for me." And she's like, "Oh,
Interesting.
thank
If he's
God."
scared for himself, shouldn't he be scared for his neighbor, Your Honor? I mean, this is just unbelievable.
okay. All right.
I mean,
We
just,
can go round
the
and
more
round.
he
I
says,
just
the
wanted
deeper
to-
he goes.
Clarify a few things.
Your
Okay.
Honor.
So do you
Go
have
ahead.
a closing statement you'd like to give before Mr. Higgins gets his closings?
Justin and I are both kind of public figures. Okay, he has a Facebook page with 20-some thousand followers. He puts himself out there all the time. When he gets arrested, I already have a YouTube channel that I post arrests on. People will tell me that I need to go pull a video. So I'll pull a video, and I pulled a bunch of his videos.
He's sitting there saying, I can't wait to see your next body cam arrest, and then making
Honor,
the
he's-
report, and then putting the video up. I
If
mean, it's
you
so
want to
dark.
give a closing statement, you're going to allow him to give his, okay?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Several times that he was arrested, he was actually live streaming while he was arrested. We have a public person who is live streaming and arrested while they're live streaming. A lot of people find that interesting, entertaining, and I will reshare those types of things. That's the kind of content that I do. I don't just cover him, I've covered other people. I just want to get that out of the way. There was a lot.
How many people are you found guilty for?
The fact of the matter is, though, I have responded to his now ex-wife's home on complaints about him. I have taken reports where she believed that there was a violation of protection order or wanted an officer to document something. Every time I ever went to her house, I said, you know what, I don't think this violates the protection order, but if you would like me to take a report, I'll be happy to document that for you. So
He turned him straight into warrants.
I've taken a bunch of reports from that house.
Bunch.
He
Wow.
has connected the two and is under the belief that I am filing false police reports in order to get him arrested so that I can then request the body camera footage and post that on YouTube. The one video with all the screenshots from the
stated he
clerk's
did.
page, I was responding to online comments from him saying that I'm falsifying documents. And I was showing the arresting officer every single time he had a warrant filed and just demonstrating that I've never filed any of those warrants.
And the warrant just had to be filed by him. That's how bad he walked right into it, the Inspector General. They couldn't believe it. He was that
I've never
slick.
filed a warrant.
You know
for
why
his
he was that
arrest.
comfortable to say it, Your Honor? Because I never said a thing. I just let him talk.
Okay, can you please let him finish his statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You know, that's all that stuff that's in the past. I allowed him to say things about me publicly because I was saying things about him publicly, and I thought that was fair. He showed up at my house. My neighbor who didn't know who he was, I had never shown my neighbors a picture of him, told him who was out for me. I just said, there's a guy in my neighborhood that's got a stalking issue, and I'm afraid he might come by. When my neighbor called me, gave the description of the vehicle, and I looked at the vehicle, I knew who it was.
Oh my God.
His mom lives on a major
Why did you not file for something before if you said I have a stalking issue? What this dude?
So,
Okay.
Just let him keep going, please.
so I called the police. They spoke to my neighbor without me present. They called the detectives. The detectives did a blind photo array. He identified Justin during that photo array. Then a couple hours later, while the officers were still there, he came back. That's the reason I'm filing for a protection order. He showed up at my house. He stopped at the end of my driveway, spoke to my neighbor. That wasn't an accident, that it was my driveway that he stopped at the end of. The neighbor whose house he pulled into, my street is a U, and it's probably 100 yards away from my house because there's the way the street is, there's no house here. You don't accidentally stop at my house if you're going to that house. And particularly with your windows down, yelling, and then blaring on the horn.
I thought it was blaring on the horn and then yelling.
On the way to her house.
Please.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. You can give your closing statement now, Mr. Higgins.
Your Honor, this is all about a man scared of being exposed and doing everything in his power to gaslight someone, to strike a match, throw it on an individual, watch them burn, suffer, and go into non-existence, and then talk about how they're burning. This is a sociopathic, dangerous individual that's unraveling. The Inspector General has found him guilty, and he's still waiting on sanctions by the President and the Chief. It's gone past the Department and is now in the hands of the Inspector General, Department of Justice, Director of Public Safety, and the City of Columbus hosted a live stream number 23 in regards to him, in regards to finding a sustained investigation. Do you know how hard that is to find an investigation? It's extremely difficult, especially if they have immunity. Mm-hmm. He waved the Garrity and walked right into a gauntlet because of one thing. He didn't even know I made the report. He didn't even know that the allegations were coming from me until it was too late, and he waved the Garrity. I got him to wave the Garrity because I lodged an anonymous complaint against an officer. I had two rules: no audio, no recording. You can take a picture of me in your office, and you can take pictures of the evidence that I'm showing you. I will give you the rabbit's tail. You follow the trail. And they did exactly what I did. I showed them all of it. So when it came to them filing and things and trying to subpoena who this guy was, this anonymous witness, they came in there cocky as hell with the president and everybody, but they knew something was off because why would they want to have a Garrity, start off with a Garrity? He was given legal counsel. President of the FOP's there. It's pretty serious. And he walked right into it as a guilty man and was found guilty, like he should be. I'm still waiting on sanctions. While he's waiting on sanctions, that very day he goes home and releases another video about me. He releases 5 more posts saying, watch out for Mr. Higgins, arrest him. This is 2 weeks prior to him making this report. Watch out for Mr. Higgins, arrest him. This is 2 weeks prior to him making this false menacing report. He's saying, look out for him, arrest him. Literally. Not only that, 2 weeks later, I'm at a march for mothers of murdered children in Columbus and the police cookout downtown on Marconi Boulevard. Now my dispatcher calls me and goes, Wolf, are you outside at the thing? I helped create that for the community, that whole event. And he goes, you can't go. And I said, I created it. I helped everyone put this together. I'm supposed to be there, and they need me there. He goes, you're going to get arrested. You got a warrant. I said, for what? He said, for menacing. I was like, what? I just went to see my kids this morning. I went to see my buddy. He goes, what the hell were you doing here? I was like, my buddy lives there. I sent him a screenshot of my buddy's address, 3085 Nick Smith, and he has lived there since I was in freaking elementary school. I mean, I had no clue that I was walking into another trap. But you know what the trap was? The 3 live streams that I've been arrested on were false arrests that were dismissed cases. They were concocted by individuals like Mr. Badger and his buddies. And they were all police-involved shootings. Every case was dismissed. I mean, he's violated not only the Freedom of Information Request Act, he's violated my civil rights, he's violated legal, criminal, and civil law. The Inspector General is waiting for me to just file a civil suit against him, backing me for the defamation, libel, violating police misconduct, and he's still waiting for sanctions. This is his last-ditched effort to make sure I can't to pursue justice for people so it doesn't happen to other people. The only reason I've stayed silent so long is because I know no other way but to sit in front of you peacefully, not shake out of anger, not lash out and say F this, F that, F12, but to say, please, the more justice our society has leads to the less charity that we need. And justice is to love kindness. And like I said in the middle of my report, I love Mr. Badger, but I'd hate to see this happen to anyone else. I'm asking the court to not allow the CPO on the grounds that there are no grounds. I would never pull up to anyone's house and do this. First off, and nothing ever would add it up. And if it were a Columbus police officer and they're scared for their life, there'd be evidence all over the place. I mean, the state wouldn't have dropped it. I mean, I just thank God that, they said that, patience is enduring suffering gratefully, with a good attitude. It's not enduring something and saying, okay, I made it through it, thank God. No, I'm sitting here with a good attitude telling you, I still want the best for Mr. Badger. And I'm scared for what's to come for him because it has nothing to do with me. My hands are closed. My job is done, Your Honor. But I'm scared for my life, and this is his last-ditch effort to silence me for good. And unless silencing me, I'm sitting here in handcuffs for a case that he created. My bonds were revoked because of a case that he created. And they're reenacting those. And I'm out on bond for a case for loving my kids and not giving up as a daddy, And I would never be gentle, break my character because I'm injustice. But those, those who prolong justice, injustice are a true threat to society, and I know that injustice is swift and justice is so slow. And like I said, I've proved a pattern of not only my gentleness. There's not one post ever that I've said a word to him. There's not one post that I've ever said F you or called him fat ass or, anything. There's no evidence. I'm sitting here behind bars with 15 days before the next hearing, which we are today, and look at all this. And it doesn't even touch the presentation that I gave to the Inspector General. I'm asking that you don't give the CPO to him because it would prohibit justice from pursuing it. I've already tried to make protection orders, and I hope that when I get out within the next couple of days, I'm going to be going to my daddy's farm because I live with my dad. He's dying of cancer right now, and he's all the way in the Waverly. He's an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes away. I mean, I came, like I said,
residing with him?
Yeah, and like I said, I came into town to see my mother, and since I'm frequent in the neighborhood, right, where I grew up, I went to see a friend that was my old best friend. I mean, and lo and behold, I'm facing a nightmare leaving all of it. I can't believe that I'm sitting here right now. I really can't. I'm heartbroken that justice can be so manipulated. I feel bad for Mr. Badger, and I hope him nothing but the most that life can offer and his loved ones. But I want him to know, I love you, buddy. I would never do anything to harm you or your family or your friends or any officer. The interesting thing is, Your Honor, you'd think that someone who experienced so much injustice would hate cops, but still, here I am prolonging and more justice for our society and speaking more peace. I think that the more injustice that we experience is the more love we have to give, not the more we have reason to hate. I'm asking that you not let the CPO go through, if there are a peaceful way we can go around this so it doesn't hinder my occupation, it doesn't hinder me from being a global goodwill ambassador, it doesn't hinder me from being a financial consultant and legal consultant for the 4 foundations that I'm on and my agency. I'm begging for my family. Don't let me suffer anymore. I'm begging.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I have a lot to think about and review. That's what my role is, to make a written recommendation. The judge assigned to the case, Judge Noble, she will review my findings. She can accept them, modify them, reject them. Until that review process is complete, that temporary order does remain in place unless or until you're differently, so just continue to abide by it, okay? Everybody will be notified of the court's final ruling. It could take a couple of weeks, though, okay? All right. I'm going to close the record. You are excused, sir. Thank you.
Have a good day, brother.